I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today?
The only thing I didn't learn today.
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and are behind on your monthly payments, you need to make this free call right now. 800-428-4187. When you call the Stop Debt Hotline, you're taking the first steps for help. Debt specialists are part of a real team who will help you with all of your options. You could stop the collection calls and letters forever by calling the completely confidential toll-free number right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can handle your debt forever. Imagine no more late nights and no more debt. Don't try to face your creditors alone. Call the Stop Debt Hotline right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. Get free information now by calling the Stop Debt Hotline. 800-428-4187. Non-attorney spokesperson paid for by Debt Resolution Helpline. 102 Northeast 2nd Street, number 183, Boca Raton, Florida, 33432.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 94.5 contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 are non-transferable, non-redeemable in cash, nor exchangeable for any other prize. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning, and you must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com. Sports commentary, legendary interviews, in-studio guests, expert opinions. It's the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante.
A guy like Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, they know they could go to another team and put up freakish numbers, but sharing the wealth across the board makes them a better team.
Catch up on the day's biggest sports stories on your drive home. The Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Weekday afternoons from 5 till 7 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
This is college football mayhem.
Touchdown! In the right flat with 1 second to go!
Allstate knows that football season is mayhem. That's why they're reminding fans that if mayhem can show up on game day, imagine what can happen the rest of the week. So get better protected with Allstate.
College Game Day on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Built by the Home Depot, Matt Schick, Brad Edwards, Trevor Maddich Show. Just 13 minutes away from the kickoff of the noon games. We'll have Bama, Southern Miss, Vanderbilt, LSU. You know, Nick Saban's ready for Southern.
Everybody wants to be the Beast, but they don't want to do what the Beast do.
Got to do what the Beast do. That one coming up on ESPN2. Florida, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Cal, Wisconsin, Michigan, Wake Forest, Elon. Everyone's got a feel on that game. Northwestern Michigan State, Army, Morgan State, Syracuse, West Virginia, Western Michigan, I should say, just to name a few. What kind of mayhem, either noon or later today, Trevor Maddich, might we see in Week 4?
I think if UCF stomps Pittsburgh, that could be mayhem because this is their last Power 5 opportunity of the season. They already stopped Stanford, and if they look good beating Pitt, now Pitt is not, they're not ranked, and they probably won't be. But if they look great stomping Pitt, then go on and win out the rest of the way, they remain in the conversation for a playoff berth. And that alone is mayhem because if the committee sees fit to put in an undefeated UCF over a one-loss Power 5 champ because maybe that one loss wasn't good and maybe that Power 5 champ didn't look dominant over the course of the season, well, there's mayhem in the playoffs. So I think UCF, big over Pitt, is mayhem.
They don't need any more mayhem in Tallahassee. It's been a rough go of it the last few years. But if Louisville goes in there today and knocks off the Seminoles, there will be more mayhem in the coming week. And a lot of people, even more people than there already are, calling for a change of head coach, even though Willie Taggart is just starting his second season there. Louisville is a team, and I kind of felt this coming into the year, that just the change in the coaching staff would do a lot to improve this team, and I think we're seeing that already. Scott Satterfield is a very good coach, and the players have bought in. They were never as bad as they looked last year when they just quit, is what happened. And so Louisville's a dangerous team because it's really easy not to take them all that seriously because they were so bad last year. But I think this is a dangerous game for a Florida State team that, look, I give them credit. They played really well and very easily could have won that game last week at Virginia when I didn't think they would keep it that close. But now they've got to adjust today to the role of the favorite, and it's a role that they have not handled very well in the last couple of years.
It's College Game Day on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app. Matt Schick, Trevor Maddich, Brad Edwards. I like the way that you went deep there. Mayhem in that game. Louisville, Florida State, run game for Louisville. Scott Satterfield. We'll see what Willie Taggart can do with this Seminole team coming off the win, the loss to Virginia by a touchdown last week. I've asked you about this game, even though it's not on anyone's radar. Steve Addazio better win today for BC going into Rutgers against Chris Ash. Has anyone ever, Brad, lost to Kansas and Rutgers in back-to-back weeks? Because that, I think, would be classified as mayhem for those in Chestnut Hill.
Off the top of my head, Matt, yes, I think it has.
What?
No. So the Bear emailed me earlier this week and asked if I could look this up for him because he wasn't near a computer, and I see why, because Reese Davis used this as the $100 question on TV today. But the answer is twice in the 2006 season. It was South Florida and Kansas State, both of them, back-to-back weeks, lost to Kansas and Rutgers.
06, is that Snyder or Ron Prince?
I think it was Prince. I'm not positive on that, but here's what I do know. Those were not the same Kansas and Rutgers teams that they are today. Rutgers that season, 2006, went 11-2. Kansas the following season went 12-1. So they were actually good back then.
Kansas was in national title conversation
in 2007.
In that
yes, they, strange as that may seem.
Steve Addazio is one of the best coaches that we never talk about in the nation. Now, he's struggling right now, but at BC it's different. Right now, a lot of the people listening to us are amazingly passionate about their college football team. And if you're at a place like Auburn or Georgia and your coach wins 9-10, 10-9, you're going to fire the guy because that's not good enough. At Boston College, I think if you get to 7, occasionally 8 or 9, with a run once in a while, I think that they think that that's good enough to not fire the coach. And so I think Steve Addazio is not quite in as bad a shape as a lot of people might think.
All right, here's another one for you. Chapel Hill today.
Oh, App State.
North Carolina hosting App State. You know, Mac Brown gets off to that great start. Everybody's all excited with the comeback wins. And last week they fall just short against Wake Forest. Like, that's okay. You know, still better than we thought. Well, if you back up that Wake Forest loss with a home loss to App State, and everybody knows App State's a good team, but all of a sudden I think the shine of the 2-0 start has completely worn off at 2-2 now, especially with a loss to a Sun Belt team in the fourth game, and it'll be very much back down to earth for North Carolina.
That's where Mac Brown started his coaching career there at App State. Also, 3:30 Eastern on ABC or ESPN2, depending on where you are in these United States. Number 22 Washington visits BYU. BYU is about a touchdown underdog in this game. Think about the slate BYU has had to tackle here so far this season. You open up in the rivalry game against Utah. You go to SEC town in Knoxville, beat Tennessee in overtime. Then you've got USC. You beat them in overtime. I mean, life as an independent ain't too fun. And they got the Huskies here today. Think about the mayhem, domino effects. We think about the Pac-12 on life support. USC's got Washington next week. Mm-hmm. And so if USC's watching this going, okay, come on, let's keep the Pac-12 mojo going here a little bit and get the Huskies a win, but that's going to be a tall task here today.
See, I wonder what would be better for USC, because if USC sweeps, then they'll be a one-loss Pac-12 champ, with the one loss being at Provo.
Yeah, do you want BYU
overtime.
or Washington to win? Yeah.
But if Washington is diminished by losing to BYU as well, then does that harm the Pac-12 conference strength of schedule? So I'm wondering which one the Pac-12 wants.
Trevor, I'm curious, just from a player's perspective. I mean, we like to talk about stuff like the emotional drain of rivalry game followed by back-to-back overtimes. What kind of a factor do you think that really is today for BYU?
It matters, but BYU is the kind of a team that can fight through it because they are immensely disciplined as individuals. That's one of the reasons they choose to go to BYU with the honor code. The coaches will always tell you that the kind of kid that comes to BYU is the kind of kid that's more coachable, the kind of kid that will give you more, and you'll be able to get more from as a coach. And so that helps to diminish some of the effects of what you're talking about.
All right, we got less than a minute to go here and about 5 minutes to go till kick. Michigan, Wisconsin. Who wins?
I'm going Wisconsin.
Why?
I don't think I have to explain it. You saw Michigan the first 2 weeks. Like I think Michigan could be a very different team several weeks from now, but coming off of what I've watched, I can't pick them today.
I think they both can win. If Wisconsin wins,
they both can win. Good.
And it's close, because then Michigan will be able to say, hey, we're different now than we were then. And if they win out, they still have to beat Ohio State.
I'll take Michigan because they looked awesome last Saturday. And I really think they...
You got into that closed practice?
What are you getting off the bus?
That off week where they really improved. And the best improvement you make is from the off week to the road game against in Madison. And I think Michigan's going to win, and we'll forget this ever happened if they don't. Florida, Tennessee coming up next here on ESPN Radio.
The new ESPN app, now with ESPN Plus. Baseball, hockey, soccer, and college football. You want more? I hope so. Because with Plus, you get new films, shows, and docs. The new ESPN app. Download now and sign up for ESPN Plus today.
Do you need a work shoe that looks so good you can wear it straight from the job out to dinner? Then look no further than Skechers Safety Toe Work Shoes. Skechers work shoes come in a variety of great styles that look just as good on the job as off. Plus, they're super comfortable with Skechers' exclusive air-cooled memory foam. They feel as good as opening your paycheck after a hefty week of overtime. And speaking of your paycheck, Skechers Safety Toe Work Shoes won't break the bank. Get America's #1 selling work shoe at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever work shoes are sold.
I'm officially a Vivid Seats Hall of Famer.
A what?
Vivid Seats launched a new app with Vivid Seats Rewards, and I earn credit on every purchase I make through the new Vivid Seats app. The more live events you attend, the more you earn.
Was it hard to join?
Nope. All I had to do was download the Vivid Seats app and use it to buy my tickets. The more you spend through the app, the more credits you earn.
Don't just get any seat. Get a Vivid seat.
Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats. Hottest in the game. Ain't nothing to it. World class. I'm a gutter, but the rest.
Now that Human Resources Director Fernando Pino has Kronos for HR, payroll, talent, and time, he's completely crushing it. He even has his own hype song.
Supporting our entire workforce. Everyone has different hours, skill sets, and pay grades.
I'm on the top. I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top. I'm gonna rise up. Now we are
Motivating and engaging our people every step of the way.
blast off to the front of the field. This is
Kronos, HR solutions for the modern workforce and the people who support them. Learn more at kronos.com/HR swagger.
I'm on the top. I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top. I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Hey, gun enthusiasts, the Santa Rosa Gun and Knife Show is coming up this weekend, September 21st and 22nd. Available at this year's show are both new and used rifles, shotguns, handguns, and knives, plus plenty of ammo and military surplus, all at gun show prices. For more information on attending or exhibiting at this gun show, call Billy Rogers at 261-8407. It's the Santa Rosa Gun and Knife Show at the Santa Rosa County Auditorium, open 9 to 5 each day this Saturday and Sunday. Sponsored by Billy Rogers and Rogers Dozer Service.
Football season has arrived, and ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM is where the action is. Bringing your high school football every Friday night, UWF football on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays. If you would like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
UWF football returns home. Florida, Tennessee kicking off any second. College Game Day wrapping up their final picks. Lee Corso looks like he's about to make his final pick. Antonio Brown is a jackwagon of all jackwagons. USC with the upset yesterday. NFL continues on, and playoff baseball around the corner. This is Sports Call. Justin, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. UWF football, first home game of the season. Let's go. It's a big day. We got a lot going on. Notre Dame and Georgia, probably one of the biggest games of the year coming up tonight. And we also have Tennessee and Florida. A lot going on. Playoff baseball's coming up. A lot going on with that. Red Sox just got eliminated last night, so it's going to be a new champion, no reigning champion, returning to the playoffs. So it's going to be we got a lot going on.
Yeah, and on that note, the Tampa Bay Rays defeating the Boston Red Sox in extra innings. I had a late night, everybody. So let me tell you a little bit about how my night went. So first, my parents were coming back home. They were traveling. They were in California. And so they're coming home, and my girlfriend and I were at my parents' house waiting to go to the airport to go pick them up. And we're watching Tampa Bay take on Boston. They beat them in extras. And then I get a phone call from my dad that says, and this was like right after the Rays won. And it's, I don't know, it's probably 10:30 at night at this point. I get a phone call from my dad. They're in Dallas, and he says, we aren't going to be going to Pensacola because we were supposed to pick them up originally at 10:30, but they had delays. He then says, we are going to be landing in Mobile at midnight, and we need you to come pick us up. And of course, I'm going to pick them up. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, that's kind of late. I mean, it's your parents.
You're their son.
You are the worst child if you are not willing to go an hour away to go pick up your parents. So I go out there, and I get home around 2 a.m. And with that, I had been up since 4 a.m. for my job on news radio and the other office work that I do here at the station. So I had a solid 22-hour day yesterday. But I'm here. I'm ready. I have just enough rest to be able to talk about the Florida-Tennessee game that's kicking off here at any moment. Dan Orlovsky looks like he's there on the call. And, of course, UWF football it's their first home game today. They're taking on Virginia University of Lynchburg. And the voice of the UWF Argos, Will Kennedy, is going to be joining us here in about 30 minutes to talk about today's game. There's also a couple of updates to come from if you're going to go to the game today, there are a couple of things that you do need to know. One of them is if you're going to be bringing a bag, because today's climate, if you've been to any college football game at all, if you plan on bringing a bag, it must be a see-through bag. They're going to be checking bags. They're going to make sure that safety is there. They're taking out all the safety precautions, and right they should. So there's some important things to know, and we'll continue to go over those as we go throughout the show, but we have a lot of good things going on. Notre Dame, Georgia is obviously the biggest game of the day, but we also have Michigan and Wisconsin. That game is going to be kicking off right now, too. Florida is about to kick off. It looks like Florida is going to Florida is receiving. Tennessee is about to kick off.
Davis. So Kyle Trash Train, what do you feel?
All right, so this is a big game because Felipe Franks last week went down with a bad injury.
Bingo,
You know what? It's an injury you never want to see anyone have.
You never want to see
You never want to see this injury happen to anybody because I mean, even though Felipe Franks at many times showed so much inconsistency at the starting quarterback position.
Look at that stat. First start since freshman year of 2012 in high school.
So Kyle Trask is starting today for the first time since his freshman year of high school. And frankly, he was a great quarterback in high school. But one thing about Trask is he's a guy that is willing to be patient. He's a guy that's willing to wait, but he's also extremely committed. He is a guy that if he commits to your team, he is there for that team, whether he plays or not. So you guys may know a quarterback by the name of Derek King at Houston, which, by the way, we'll talk about that Houston game here in a little while, as Trask hands the ball off for about a 3-yard gain up the middle.
Okay.
But Kyle Trask was always a solid quarterback in high school. But Derek King fit the system that Manville High School in Houston, it's near the Houston area. Manville High School ran a certain system that fit Derek King better, and it worked because they won a bunch of ball games. But Kyle Trask was always talented, so once they got to a big enough lead, they would put Trask in because they wanted to make sure he played. And he got a little bit of attention, but then Randy Shannon, former defensive coordinator for Florida, goes to Manville to recruit another guy. He sees Trask as Trask goes deep, has a man.
Oh, wow, beautiful.
Caught. That's probably a 35, 40-yard gain to Trayvon Grimes. So up the middle, Florida rolling.
Now, see, here's the scene on the scouting report. It's be boring, which is something Felipe Franks was never. He was always trying to do a lot. But for Kyle Trask, he needs to be boring, know who he is and know who he isn't, but also and find your safeties. He found his safeties here. He saw his man Grimes had his man beat by a step and a half. And Kyle Trask, when Felipe Franks went down, Kyle Trask came in. I saw his first couple of plays. I was like, I honestly felt more confident in Florida with Kyle Trask in than I did with Felipe Franks. I felt a lot more confident and comfortable watching them play than I have in the past 2 years.
And that ball was underthrown, too. He throws that ball to Trayvon, and Trayvon had the receiver beat. The ball was underthrown, but because the receiver was focused on Trayvon looking ahead, Trayvon was able to come back to the ball and beat the cornerback still. So they still had a huge gain. They're already in Tennessee territory at the 27-yard line. But Trask was a guy that he goes to a camp at Florida after he's invited. Trask keeping the ball on a quarterback keeper, and it looks like he might be there for the first down. Yep, they're going to give him the first down at the 19-yard line. He's looking comfortable.
He looks so comfortable, and I honestly feel so more if a Felipe Franks was playing, I'd be like, I don't know who's going to show up today. So I wouldn't know who if we'd be comfortable winning this game. But I'm going to just go ahead and say this: I feel comfortable that Florida's winning this game. I do. I just don't see how they couldn't.
I feel comfortable even if Felipe was in the game. So, I feel really comfortable if Felipe was in the game because let's look at Tennessee real quick.
Yeah.
Tennessee overall is just not having a solid year. Yeah, they came off a 45-0 win. Trask goes back to throw. Touchdown Florida. Just like that. Touchdown Florida. Easy. Trask, two passes, looking comfortable. But again, I'm going to go back to Tennessee real quick. I'm going to get off the hype train for Kyle Trask in Florida just real quick. Tennessee is struggling this season. You know, they got off to a really rough start against Georgia Southern. It was Georgia State. It was Georgia State. I was actually at their campus not too long ago. So Georgia State, they defeat Tennessee and really embarrassed them. They embarrassed them 38-30 in their first game at home, and then they take on BYU the very next week. That game a little bit closer, but BYU still beats them on their final drive. And so they take on Chattanooga. They get a much-needed win against Chattanooga, blowing them out at home, and now they're here at Florida. So this team, being a Tennessee fan, and I'm going to give a shout-out to my buddy Andrew. Being a Tennessee fan right now, because it's a tough thing at the moment. And I feel for Tennessee fans because, frankly, they haven't really been the best team in the world since about 2005. Yeah, they've had some good seasons. I think they've had maybe one 10-win season since 2005, I think. And I know they've had at least a 9-win season. But Tennessee has just been struggling. There have been moments where Tennessee has it looks like they're going to be that good team. When Josh Dobbs was the quarterback, it looked
that was a good team. That was a good team.
Tennessee looked like that team that could contend for the East. But then they would just have those games where they should have won, and they just let it slip out of their hands. Pure example is going to be Florida. Florida, they lost in 2015, What's today? It's 2019. So it was probably 2017. No, it was 2015. It was 2015 when Will Grier was still the quarterback at Florida. Tennessee was winning that whole game. I think at one point they were winning by 17. Florida manages to mount the comeback. They end up winning. Tennessee had an opportunity, though, to kick a 53-yard game-winning field goal.
It missed by
went
that much.
just wide right.
And I see Jim McElwain, like he froze the kicker and he missed wide right, like by like 10 yards, missed the field goal. And he called the timeout to freeze them. And then the next time he came this close, like I'm doing like 3 inches away from making that field goal, and like I was like, it scared me to death. But looking at some other games, I want to talk about the Michigan-Wisconsin game and the Michigan State and Northwestern game. Michigan State and Northwestern is something I really want to look at because Pat Fitzgerald, when it comes to Big Ten play, he changes things. He goes from he changes Northwestern to a completely different team, and that's why they're honestly one of the best competitors in the Big Ten, in my opinion, because Pat Fitzgerald, he knows how to play against Big Ten teams, and he's very competitive. He's tough. Northwestern's a tough team, and I honestly have Northwestern winning this game.
So Northwestern is an intriguing team. Pat Fitzgerald, by the way, I mean, I think he went to Northwestern.
He did.
He is very committed to Northwestern. He is a very, very good coach, and he was even tied into the Green Bay job. He was tied into the Green Bay Packers job before Matt LaFleur was hired. But he didn't want to go there. He wanted to stay in Northwestern, and he's a guy that's they're Wildcats, right? Yeah, he's a Wildcat through and through. This is a decent team. The only issue is that Northwestern isn't going to be that premier team. Now, they have an opportunity to compete in the Big Ten.
I mean, they were runner-up last year.
They lost.
And they gave Ohio State trouble. A very good Ohio State team, they gave them trouble. It was looking questionable, like they were hanging on to him there. But then Dwayne Haskins, with his 50-touchdown season, just comes in and lights him up, But Northwestern, I'm a big fan of them. I love them. Like, they're a great team, and I like the way Pat Fitzgerald's coached. He's a tough coach, and I love tough coaches because they're very competitive. And like you punch them in the face, they look at you and they smile. Like they love it.
All right, I do want to go back to. I want to go to this Wisconsin-Michigan game. So Wisconsin has the ball. Jonathan Taylor just had himself a decent run, but Jonathan Taylor, he's been compared to Saquon Barkley from Penn State. And first off, that's a big time compliment. It looks like Wisconsin right now. They're at their 42-yard line. They're at Michigan's 42-yard line, 1st and 10. Wisconsin, I have them winning this ball game at home. Playing at Jonathan Taylor breaking away for a big gain. That was about an 18-yard gain for Jonathan Taylor running to the right. So they're moving the ball. They're going to give it to Jonathan Taylor. I see this being a big game for him. I'm going to hold off though on giving my final prediction until we get to the second hour. Wisconsin, you got to favor them in this ball game against a Michigan team that, for the most part, has looked fairly weak this season. Even at home. Well, today they are in Wisconsin. I say on Wisconsin.
I want to get back to the Michigan-Wisconsin game, but Vanderbilt is up 6-0 on LSU, and they're also on the second and goal on the LSU 5 for them right now as well.
I would get off that hype train,
but it's just
right now.
Vanderbilt is 0-2, and they're beating LSU, who's the number 4 team in the nation. I mean, that's pretty big. Oh wait, no, excuse me. All right, so it wasn't updated yet, so the ball was on the 5-yard line. I thought it was 7-0, and they were on the 5-yard line again. So no, it's just 7-0. So I'm going to hop off that train now because I thought they were about to score again. But back to the Michigan-Wisconsin game, Jonathan Taylor, he wasn't talked about at all coming into the first 3 games of the season, but now with the start that he's had, he's one of the most notoriously known players in the country right now, and that's not a quarterback. He's probably the top player in the nation who's not a quarterback. He's probably the most athletic player in the nation who's not a quarterback. He's done a great job at the running back position for Wisconsin.
Oh, that's a fumble.
That ball is backwards, but it went out of bounds.
Sorry. So one of the glories of being in a studio loaded up with TVs is that we do have a selection of games on around us. Well, for right now, the game that we're focusing on our personal TV is Florida-Tennessee, and Jarrett Garantano threw a ball clearly behind the line of scrimmage, but behind him, and they called it an incomplete pass, but it went out of bounds anyways. No one was gonna recover that ball, so it's still Tennessee football. It's 3rd and 4 right now, Tennessee with the ball. I do want to talk about Jarrett Garantano real quick. This was a guy who was a heavily recruited quarterback. He's out of New Jersey. He was like a top 3 quarterback in the nation. He goes to Tennessee, which was a big pickup for them as Tennessee gets the first down.
And
And more. So they're beyond the 50-yard line. They're in Florida territory.
Receiver making a lot of moves there, being really shifty, spin cycle, cut inside. Got about 20 yards there after the catch. About, let's say, 15.
Speaking of moving into your opposing team's territory, Jonathan Taylor is running all over Michigan. They're at the 3.5-yard line on Michigan's goal, and on Michigan, it's 1st and goal. Wisconsin looks like they're about to score. This looks like it's about to be an easy touchdown for Wisconsin as they hand the ball off to Taylor again. He gains about a yard or two, and he is down 2nd and goal at about the 2-yard line.
I do want to point this out. See, Michigan did struggle against Army, who's a big triple option run team, and Wisconsin's the same way. They're not triple option, but they are big, heavy on the run, and Michigan struggles against the run, especially with all the players they lost last year with Devin Bush, their linebacker, and Chase Winovich also. So they lost a lot with the run defense, and it's a completely different team now, and they're struggling against the run game.
Oh, so after the play, it looks like Tennessee commits a personal foul, 15 yards back. I think they still get the first down, but it's 15 yards back from where they were. So, yep. So, actually, the play I don't even think was over yet, but I think it's still going to be first down Tennessee, but back up 15 yards after they got the first down. So, Tennessee first down, they're at about the 50-yard line, close to the 50-yard line. Still in their territory. So we're going to continue to give you updates on all these active games that are going on right now. We have plenty of good games that are going to be coming up. Also, Pete Alonso, first baseman for the New York Mets, a Florida Gator grad, he hit his 50th home run yesterday, and he is now 2 home runs away from Aaron Judge's mark. And we'll wait till Love It or Hate It to say whether he is going to pass it. I'll go ahead and tease that right now.
We already, I don't know if you remember, but about a month ago, there was about 46 games left. We were sitting at 40 or like 36. That was one of our Love It or Hate It's. Will Pete Alonso break the rookie home run record? Now, I remember Justin Raley. He said he wasn't. I'm pretty sure you were for it.
I was completely for it.
Yeah, and I was for it as well, but Justin Raley didn't think so. But I don't see how it's not going to happen, unless he gets hurt in some way. But it's going to be close. I say, if he does beat it, it's going to be by 1 or 2.
Also, the Yankees, Astros, the Atlanta Braves, they've all clinched playoff spots, and we still have a couple of spots left open in the playoffs. So we'll get you updated on those games coming up here right after this break. Football is back. We are more than happy about that. Playoff baseball is almost here, and if the Tampa Bay Rays can make it to the playoffs, I will be more than happy about that. You're listening to Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
I'm really hungry, but I don't want to spend a fortune.
Well, you're in luck. Now you can get Denny's Super Slam with 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, 2 sausage links, hash browns, and 2 pancakes, all for just $5.99.
That is a great deal. So I get all of that for just $5.99?
You sure do.
Wow, this meal just keeps getting better and better.
Some might say super.
I see what you did there.
The $5.99 Super Slam is back. See you at Denny's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. No substitutions.
Does pain have you sidelined on the bench? Clearway Pain Solutions wants you back in the game. Our team of compassionate, board-certified pain specialists, chiropractors, and physical therapists will relieve your pain and restore your function. For comprehensive, patient-centered care, visit a Clearway doctor at one of our convenient locations near you. Call Clearway Pain Solutions today at 855-527-PAIN or visit our website at clearwaypain.com. That's 855-527-PAIN or clearwaypain.com.
Okay, here are 3 important reasons why your son or daughter should play a sport in high school.
Number 1.
High school sports teach valuable life lessons like self-discipline and time management skills.
2.
Teens who play a high school sport have better grade point averages.
And number 3.
High school sports are safer than ever before.
This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Football and falling clearance prices. It's here at Pensacola Honda with these great deals. Get a Honda 2019 HR-V all-wheel drive LX CVT for only $249 a month. You own it. Or how about a 2019 Honda Accord Sedan CVT LX for $111 a month? 36-month lease, only $39.99 down. See dealer for details. Rates as low as 1.9% APR on select models. Pensacola Honda and online at PensacolaHonda.com. Home of the one price, low price guarantee.
The Paul Feinbaum Show.
Everything you wanted to happen hasn't happened.
Oh my gosh, that's all any of y'all want to talk about is Alabama.
You're really not understanding the conversation, but anyway, we can move on.
Alabama's dynasty has just begun.
Hold on a second, Charles. Somebody wants to talk to you.
I don't want to talk that compelling moron. He's nothing but a lame-headed old man.
2 till 5 every weekday afternoon. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You're out of your freaking mind, cowturd.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Well, Alabama, just like that, they're making Southern Miss wish that they weren't a football team at the moment. As Florida has the football again, it looks like a holding is going to be called against them and a fumble, and Tennessee just recovered the ball. So it looks like Florida fumbled and Tennessee did recover. There was also a holding, it looked like, on Florida, so it looks like in Florida territory, Tennessee is going to be getting the football. Other games going on right now, Michigan and Wisconsin. Wisconsin is up. Jonathan Taylor scored a touchdown, a 1-yard rush right up the middle, so making it all look easy. In other games, Cal is taking on Ole Miss right now, and Cal, they're ranked. First off, Cal has not been a team in a while.
It's been about...
It's been a while. I would say probably since... I mean, Jared Goff was out of there. But the thing is, though, like, he won, I think the most games he won at Cal was like 7 games. And he looked good nonetheless. But the most they won was 7 games. Last time they really were a decent team was when Aaron Rodgers was there. So Cal, they're ranked. They're beating Ole Miss at the moment, 7-0. Alabama beating Southern Miss 7-0. Florida, of course, winning 7-0 at the moment. And looking at the game right now, it does look like, yep, that was a clean fumble. The ball did not go out of bounds, but the player,
now
hold on now. This could be under replay because it looks like the Tennessee player who got the fumble might have had a foot out of bounds. So does that actually? I'm curious. If you recover the football when you're out of bounds,
no, you're a dead player if you're out of
bounds.
Like
this, I think the ball is dead.
Yeah,
and it's not your ball.
Yeah, you can't recover that ball.
So we'll let that play out. But we do have other games going on. LSU, Vanderbilt, they're all tied. LSU managed to score back. Let's go ahead and talk about Auburn, Texas A&M. And by the way, next segment, I do want to remind you that Will Kennedy, the voice of the UWF Argos, he will be joining the show to talk about today's upcoming game against Virginia University of Lynchburg. This is a new team to UWF, but also I heard a thing that Lynchburg has never even won a football game. So
Oh, wow.
And they're 0-3 going into this matchup. So right now, West Florida is looking pretty good. And we're also going to recap what happened last week. West Florida defeating Shorter University in blowout fashion, and Austin Reed having himself just an outstanding football game. But go ahead. You look like you have something.
You know what I just realized? Southern Miss has beaten Bama. They beat Bama back in 2000. I just realized that. They beat them 21-0. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, but that was also during the times when Bama was really hitting hard.
They were getting
they were going through coaching changes. I think they were going through a couple of scandals. So, Alabama during the very early 2000s, they were not in a great spot. But anyways, Auburn and Texas A&M is one of the biggest games on today. You have 3-0 Auburn, number 8 in the nation, taking on the 17th-ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Coming in at 2-1. This game will be on CBS, kicking off at 2:30. Texas A&M favored by 4. And I like that. I like that because it's at Kyle Field, and this A&M team is good. Bo Nix is going into Kyle Field, true freshman. This kid's good.
Tough place
to
play.
This kid is good.
It's a tough place to play.
Kyle Field's a very tough place to play. I look at this game, and this is one of those games I will hold off to give my prediction until the end of the show. But I look at these odds, and I can't help but favor Texas A&M. And then when you give the odds, you favor Texas A&M by 4. I think I would like Texas A&M to cover that. I think this will be a close game.
Oh, yes.
I also think it has the potential to be a blowout for Texas A&M. Like, they will destroy Auburn. It could go one of those two ways. I have a tough time believing that Auburn is going to run away with this ball game. I think it's either going to be a very close game with both teams in it, or Texas A&M could run away with it.
Kellen Mond was struggling a lot versus Clemson.
Yeah, that's Clemson.
Okay, and
I think
Auburn
Clemson
has a good defense. You got to remember that.
Yeah, I think Clemson could beat Auburn.
No, yeah, okay, yeah, of course. But I mean, also you got to remember Texas A&M. They did their midnight yell, which is something that they do once a year. It's usually for a big game at home that they'll do it for. They did the midnight yell. It's where they'll have fans at the stadium at midnight. And
that'd be something cool to take part in.
Yeah, it's kind of. I've always kind of wanted to do it. Like Texas A&M, they have for baseball and football, they have some really unique things I've always wanted to experience in college sports, and the midnight yell is one of them because it's kind of like a giant pep rally at midnight. It's really cool, honestly.
Yeah, and of course Texas A&M, they're the team that really embraces the 12th man. So the fans at Texas A&M, they're rowdy, and I will say Texas A&M is just that they are a dedicated fan base. A lot of definitely very rich people have come out of Texas A&M. Great school, and actually I know someone who recently graduated from Texas A&M not too long ago, and he always tells me about the amazing experiences he had over there. As we take a look at the Tennessee-Florida game, they're about to give their ruling on the field. It was a fumble, but under review, what are they going to call it now? So we'll give it a second.
I can't read lips.
Can't read lips. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to see the graphic. Oh, Florida celebrating, so it looks like they're going to retain possession of the football because the player, it appeared he had his foot out of bounds when he gained possession of the ball. I think, therefore, that makes the play dead, but dead favoring Florida.
Yes.
So Florida's going to keep the ball. There was a holding, I believe, so I think they're still going to back up the football, but they're going to retain possession. Also, I want to point this out that when that play occurred, Emory Jones was on the field. And they said that Emory Jones is going to get possession of the ball. He's going to play in this ball game. His red shirt was already used up, so he's going to get playing time in this ball game. So again, we'll continue to give you updates throughout all the active games. Auburn, Texas A&M. Some of the things that we need to see out of this ball game, and I'm going to start with Auburn, is Bo Nix. He needs to play this like it's a home game.
Yep.
Bo Nix, he's a good football player. He is a very good football player, and I think that Auburn is they have a bright future with Bo Nix as their starting quarterback. This kid is meant for the moment, and he is going to be a very good player further down the road. As a true freshman, how he handles himself in this ball game, how he composes himself, how he performs will say a lot for the kind of athlete that he is at Auburn. Even if he has a bad game, but he can still show that he can lead this team and keep this game within arm's reach. Look, and that can really show that what he can provide for the future of this team. As a young guy, I expect him to make mistakes. I expect him to show struggles in this ballgame. He showed struggles against Oregon, but the thing that stood out against Oregon was that coming down the stretch, he was leading this team. He wasn't just playing football, he was leading the team. I see him doing a lot of that today. I think that this has the ability to be a close game in the fourth quarter. And what will Bo Nix do in that ball game? I firmly believe that he will keep them in this ball game.
Well, see, here's the thing. This is a hard game to have a strong lean on. But the thing is, you got to remember, Texas A&M, they're having a lot of offensive line issues, and you got to look at Auburn's D line. They are loaded. That's a tough D line to go up against right now. And also, Texas A&M, they lost their running back, Josh Corbin, and that's a big loss for them as well. Big troubles with the O-line. Auburn's loaded defense. It really just comes down, who do you have more confidence in as a quarterback? And right now, after seeing Kellen Mond play against Clemson and their pretty good defense, I'm not that confident in them, and I have more confidence in Bo Nix. That's just the way I look at it right now. And
looks like Jacob Copeland, this game be a high grad, just got a 21-yard reception for a first down for the Florida Gators.
Local, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Jacob Copeland. This is a guy that I want to see him break out this season so bad. We did not see him against Miami. I don't even think we saw him last week, but we did see him in their second game, and we're seeing him right now. So that's good to see that Jacob Copeland is getting snaps. Just got a big reception for the Gators. Kyle Trask.
He's in motion right now. Jacob Copeland. He's in the slot position. He's on a go route.
And, another fumble.
Gosh, no.
He was sacked. Tennessee did recover the football clean this time.
These are just mental small mistakes that Florida can't be making. Luckily, it's against Tennessee where we can recover from these. But if it was against bigger teams like Georgia, we would be really shooting ourselves in the foot. But these are things that Florida has been needing to shape up on, and I'm hoping by the time we come against like Georgia and Auburn, we have these things fixed, because we won't be coming back from them if we make these type of mistakes against Auburn and Georgia. So I'm happy we're getting them out versus Tennessee and Miami instead of those games.
Going back to Texas A&M, for Texas A&M, this is a must-win for them. Texas A&M, this is a big game. You're bringing in an undefeated team. This Auburn team, they have a lot of hype going for them right now, especially after that big win against Oregon. Auburn has a tough schedule too. So does Texas A&M. Both of these teams have very tough schedules. So for both of these teams, this is a must-win moving forward along your schedule. And Auburn, they want to stay undefeated. Gus Malzahn wants to keep his job, which I think as of right now, he's going to keep his job.
Not really.
But this has to be a must-win for them, because they want to compete in the SEC West. They want to compete. They need to stay alive. They also have a very tough schedule. You'll lose to number 1 ranked Clemson, but if you can continue to win ball games, big ball games like this one, especially at home, you can stay nationally ranked and continue to build and build and build and compete in the West, and possibly, like any team, still compete for that playoff bid. So this is a must-win really for Texas A&M, I believe. They have to win this big ball game. Kellen Mond, he needs this big win.
Yeah, but this just goes to show this is probably the biggest amount of competition we've had in the SEC West in a long time, since probably about 2015. I'm about to say is that we haven't had this loaded of teams, because now Auburn they're in the top 10, LSU's in the top 10. Texas A&M, they were pretty close to the top 10, lost to Clemson. That's just unfortunate. It's Clemson. What are you going to do about it? I mean, there's a lot of competition. Of course, we have Bama every year. It's always like that. And then you also have teams outside in the East like Florida and Georgia. I mean, this is probably the best we've seen the SEC in a very long time when it comes to competition. And I'm here for it, because people have been doubting the SEC of their competition just because Bama's here every year. But this is probably the biggest year that we're going to see Bama have competition. I don't think they're going to struggle for it, though. That's the thing. I think they're going to be pretty easy with it as well. But you also got to look at Auburn plays Georgia, Auburn plays Florida, Auburn plays Texas A&M. That's crazy. You're playing the 2 other good teams in the East, in the SEC, the ones that are in the top 10. You're playing those 2 teams, and you're also playing LSU. You're also playing Alabama. You literally have 5 top 10 matchups on your schedule. That's crazy. If you go 3-2 in those games, I still see you as a playoff contender.
And an update, Michigan was moving down the field. They were on their 10-yard line, handing the ball off to their fullback. He fumbles. Wisconsin recovers. That is painful for Michigan, because Wisconsin, again, favored in this ball game. They're at home. Michigan's moving down the field with the opportunity to score, and then you fumble in your red zone. Wisconsin has the ball deep in deep in their own territory, I should say. Coming up after this break, Will Kennedy, the voice of the UWF Argos. We're going to be talking about today's game against Virginia University of Lynchburg. You're listening to Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Football and falling clearance prices. It's here at Pensacola Honda with these great deals. Get a Honda 2019 HR-V all-wheel drive LX CVT for only $249 a month. You own it. Or how about a 2019 Honda Accord Sedan CVT LX for $111 a month? 36-month lease, only $39.99 down. See dealer for details. Rates as low as 1.9% APR on select models. Pensacola Honda and online at PensacolaHonda.com. Home of the one price, low price guarantee.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Well, you want to see a Broadway show, but New York City just isn't in the cards.
Broadway's coming to you. Get your tickets now for the 2019-2020 Broadway season at the Sanger Theater. See amazing Broadway touring shows like Jersey Boys, Cats, The Color Purple, Beautiful, An American in Paris, and Waitress for a third of the cost you would pay on Broadway. See actual Broadway shows right here in downtown Pensacola. Get all the details at PensacolaSanger.com.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters, your home for Pensacola sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
All of the lights.
UWF football, it's going to be happening today. Kickoff at 6 o'clock, the first home game of the 2019 season. Argos coming in with a record of 1-1, taking on Virginia Lynchburg, who has a record of 0-3. And on the line with us is the voice of the UWF Argos, is Will Kennedy. Will, welcome back to Sports Call.
Man, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Saturday, fellas, ready to roll.
It's Saturday, college football, a whole lot of big games going on today, including here in Pensacola, UWF taking on Virginia Lynchburg. But before we dive into that ball game, I do want to quickly go over what happened last week against Shorter. 42-14 victory, a much-needed victory in Rome, Georgia, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird game from the standpoint of you're playing a team in Shorter, a conference opponent, so it's the first conference game of the season. You're coming off that disappointing loss to Carson Newman to open up. And Shorter's a team that has lost 41 straight games heading into the game with the Argos, and it's 14-14 at half, and you've got that feeling. It's kind of like, what is going on here? But whatever Coach Pete Shinnick and staff did in the locker room of that game against Shorter up in Rome was magic, and they should bottle that and keep that and sell that and do whatever they can with that, because second half was a different story. And this is a team in the Argos, the offense just clicked in the second half against Shorter, and you hope to maintain that the rest of the way. Probably going to see more of that this week. But, yeah, really a good game. The defense gave up some big plays early against Shorter last week. 2 big touchdown plays, long run and a long pass. It was a blown assignment and then a missed tackle on those 2 plays. And then they cleaned things up in the second half and looked like the dominant defense that they have the potential to be. So, yeah, the win they needed to get to 1-1 right now, first conference win, Virginia Lynchburg this week, and this is a stretch of 3 in a row at home, so it's a good time for them.
Yeah, 3 in a row at home, welcoming home on a big victory. And also, Austin Reed, get to know that name. He lit it up against Shorter, putting 364 on them and 6 touchdowns total. That's something that you want to see out of your redshirt freshman.
Absolutely. He had one of those, Heisman type days, the kind of thing. There's a Harlan Hill Award for Division II, which is the Division II version of the Heisman. And so obviously after the game against Shorter, there was talk about, wow, we got to pump Austin up for that. And it's a guy who stepped in against Carson Newman after the first 2 or 3 series and not necessarily his fault. J.C. Robles, who was the starter for the first game against Carson Newman, the offense just wasn't clicking. He wasn't getting much protection. So Coach Shinnick feels like, I got to he was planning to play Austin anyway, so I'm going to put him in where I said I'd put him in, planned to put him in. And he got the offense going. I mean, obviously not enough to win that first game, But you saw last week what he's capable of, and you're right. 364 yards throwing. He was 24-35. So accuracy, efficiency, throws for 4 touchdowns. I mean, short passes, long passes, spread the football around, threw to a bunch of different guys, and then was able to run the ball very effectively, too, from the quarterback position, the 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half. This is a kid. He's not a huge kid. He's probably about 6'1", 200 pounds, but he's not afraid of contact. He will put his head down. He will punish defenders when he runs, and told me in the interview that you'll hear pregame, by the way, we'll be on 5:30 for the pregame here on the radio on ESPN Pensacola, but he told me in the pregame, I got to be smart about it. I can't get myself hurt, but, I want to be a physical runner. So you're really seeing that run-pass option, that RPO, and Austin Reed's almost kind of the perfect guy to do that.
And really, a big victory for the Argos because they, like you mentioned, they had that tough loss against Carson Newman to open up the season. So now you're able to reset things. You take on a team that you're able to beat up a little bit on. But now let's transition that to their first home game of the season, the first of 3 straight, where they're taking on a team that none of us have ever really seen before. But we know just enough to see that Virginia Lynchburg, they have an 0-3 record going into this game. Their records haven't been pretty solid in seasons past. Tell us what you know about Virginia Lynchburg.
They really are kind of a mystery, Davis. It's one of those situations where, we dig around a little bit. We talk to their previous opponents. They had just played, Davidson as one of their first 3 opponents up outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So we were able to kind of connect with their folks and get a little bit of information. But even finding a roster has been a little bit difficult. But, obviously this is a program. They are, this isn't a downplay on them at all, but they're kind of a schedule filler. And it's tough. If you're the University of West Florida and in your second season as a startup program, you make it to the national championship game, it becomes difficult for Dave Scott, the athletic director, to find opponents. Nobody really wants to play you because, you're the kind of program that should be an easy win on their schedule, but all of a sudden you're not because you've jumped ahead. And so finding teams to fill into that schedule has been tough. Virginia, we had another team scheduled. They dropped out, so Virginia and Lynchburg was kind of the last-minute addition. You can kind of look at their numbers and see what they've done to start the season. You mentioned they're 0-3, and it really hasn't been pretty. They've lost, badly in all 3 of their games, and they've given up an average of 50 points a game, coming off a loss to Savannah State last week where they gave up 60. So if you're the UWF offense, you're looking forward to this. And you don't expect that this is a team that they're playing that doesn't have a lot of depth, and the size is a little bit different, from what you're going to face, obviously, moving forward. And, Pete Shinnick will tell you can't take anybody for granted. And he's telling his players, forget about their record. We got to go out there and do what we need to do. And that's really the message he preaches every week is if we play to our potential, that's all that matters. We can't worry about the opponent. And it'll be a feel-good game. It'll be obviously a good game for that first home game. The crowd will see a lot of points, I imagine, and a lot of up and down the field. And that's exciting. But you got to look at what you're playing the rest of the way when you play in this Gulf South Conference and some of the teams that you're going to face. And so it's a breather before things get very difficult.
Yeah, because then after this game, we do start conference play. We take on, or we actually already started conference play against Shorter, but then we stay home against Mississippi College. That's going to be family weekend. So, of course, we do want to be 2-1 going up against a tough, a fairly tough team like Mississippi College, and of course Delta State following up homecoming right after that. But this should be a fun game for the Argos and the fans that are in attendance. First home game of the season. There are a couple of things that you need to know about this game coming into it if you do plan on attending. I know they have certain new protocols that they're going to be following for game day. If you're able to talk about that.
Yeah, when you go Argos.com, which our website kind of has some of that information. I can tell you the more fun part of that kind of stuff is this first home game is a whiteout game. So the first 2,000 fans that get there for this one tonight get white pom-poms. For the first 500 students, they are giving out whiteout T-shirts. But they're encouraging all Argo fans to wear white to this game. Kind of that look. You've seen it on TV, basketball and football, kind of get the whole crowd, the whole stands to have that similar look and kind of a white. It's going to look cool, especially as it gets dark earlier now. And then, you want to make sure that we're doing new bag checks going into the game. And this is kind of something you're seeing around the country,
right.
Making sure that everybody's bags are inspected as you go in. So maybe get there a little early, make sure that you're ready to have your stuff out. And they're going to check anything larger than a wallet size item. And then if you're going to tailgate today, too, as far as grills and things are concerned, just making sure that everybody's staying safe. And then they're going to, make sure that if you're using those grills, they'll be checking on you. And making sure that you put them out before you go into the stadium. You know, we don't need any fires outside the stadium as the game is getting started. And as always, this first home game, you know, even when like our game ops crew here at the University of West Fort's fantastic, Aaron Lucius and those guys. But every year, even when you've done it for 3 previous seasons, you know, there's always unexpected things that first week, and you're always kind of just trying to get through that first one, and then things are easier the rest of the way. So bear with everybody today. You know, parking attendance, all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit of a hectic thing for week 1, but we're looking forward to a big crowd. You know, it's been fantastic, David. This is a program, you know, in just their 4th season. Last year we led the Gulf South Conference in attendance for home games at nearly 6,000 fans per game. I think we were 12th in Division II football overall, and that's with a lot of teams with a lot more tradition and bigger venues in some cases. So truly, Blue Wahoo Stadium is a unique place to play college football. If you haven't been to a game there, it's just worth coming down and seeing the setup. And it's all set up now, and will stay set up for the season. We put bleachers out in what is the baseball outfield to give you that second side along the field. And you know, some interesting sight lines, and we've got the Argo Athletic Band that's in the stadium. Last year was their first year. They've grown a little bit in size, and they add to the atmosphere. It really is just a very cool place to watch a college football game.
Yeah, and you know, for a baseball field, it's one of the best football fields in all of Division II because you know you've seen it personally. You've traveled to a lot of different stadiums, and you'll see, you know, some of them, depending on where you go, are almost equivalent to a decent high school field. But then you come to Blue Wahoo Stadium, and even though it is a baseball field by trade, it is a fantastic location because you got to imagine if you're a visiting fan and you're coming to Pensacola, you are seeing the beautiful scenery. It's on the water, but also it's in downtown Pensacola, which, by the way, that transitions to the business that UWF football is now generating for the community, millions in profits that apparently this football team brought to the community last season.
Yeah, our Haas Center out here, which is a part of the business college and does, you know, economic impact studies and that kind of thing, did a recent study on the impact of UWF football for the Pensacola community and area, and I think it's something like $9.7 million during a season of additional money pumped into the economy. And that's the thing. People love to come downtown. You can tailgate at the stadium. Think about all the restaurants and bars that are close by, pregame and postgame for fans and students to go, you know, visit and keep it going after the game's over. So tonight, you know, Saturday night, we'll kick off at 6, and the game will wrap up around 9, and it's still plenty early, depending how old you are, right? to roll out downtown and enjoy yourself a little bit. So it's really it's a win-win situation for the businesses downtown, for the ballpark itself, which is hosting more and more events, not just football, but other things as well. And you're right. Like, I think fans have become a little more used to this kind of thing from, you know, we've seen – you know, big-time Division I college football games that have been played inside of Yankee Stadium or inside of Fenway or things of that nature. You know, Notre Dame or some of these schools will want to play games in other cities to kind of attract that attention. And the same thing here. You know, what a great recruiting tool. But you've seen hockey and other sports played in non-traditional venues. And so I think people kind of used to that a little bit more now, but it really is cool, yeah. And you're right. I mean, Shorter last week, I'm not going to knock their facility, but it really was. I've been to high school football stadiums in Texas that were considerably larger than what Shorter had. But it is a unique place to play at Blue Wahoo Stadium, and the players love it. The coaching staff loves it. Visiting media when they come in, but they're just knocked out by it. So what a great postcard for Pensacola.
We're speaking with Will Kennedy, the voice of the UWF Football Argos. Will, before I let you go, you're going to be calling the game. Give me some of your keys to the game going into this matchup. It's going to be getting kicked off at 6 o'clock.
Well, I think number one is focus, obviously. When you're playing a team, as we just touched on, that you don't know a ton about, I'm sure they watched a little film, but, you feel kind of fight. These are college kids. You got to keep in mind that these are 18, 19 to 20-year-old guys in a lot of cases, and you got to fight that urge to think we're going to go out there and mop the floor with these guys. Can't think that way. And I know the coaching staff will be preaching that to them. You want to see the defense be as clean as possible, get rid of penalties. Same thing, really, both sides of the ball. If you're the coaching staff, let's limit the penalties. Let's sharpen everything that we do. And then I think the big question is Davis, that, really the only, other than the big plays that we touched on, the other issue is special teams and where is your kicker? Where is Austin Williams? This is a senior kicker who in 2017 was, All-American caliber. You could count on him anytime he got near to put points on the board. Last year, he struggled throughout the season with accuracy. I think, it's like playing golf when you're a kicker. Things got in his head. And then we saw him miss a 41-yarder that normally he hits. Last week, after an interception, you get down to the 25 against Short, and you come up with no points right before half. Those are the kind of things you got to clean up. So those are kind of the keys today. Look for special teams, look for limiting those mistakes and penalties, and then I say look for the big plays today, because I think you got an offense. You got Austin Reed coming off that week. He wants to do that again. I imagine we're going to see J.C. Robles a little bit earlier than we've seen, and he's chomping at the bit to prove that he's just as good a quarterback as Austin Reed, why he was the starter chosen for Carson Newman. So some interesting subplots for this one.
Will Kennedy, you can hear him starting at 5:30 right here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM with the UWF pregame show. We then kick off shortly after that at 6 o'clock. Will, thanks for joining us, and go Argos.
Yeah, go Argos, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, when we come back from this break, 11:48, we're going to love it or hate it. That's coming up on Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Does pain have you sidelined on the bench? Clearway Pain Solutions wants you back in the game. Our team of compassionate, board-certified pain specialists, chiropractors, and physical therapists will relieve your pain and restore your function. For comprehensive, patient-centered care, visit a Clearway doctor at one of our convenient locations near you. Call Clearway Pain Solutions today at 855-527-PAIN or visit our website at clearwaypain.com. That's 855-527-PAIN or clearwaypain.com.
Hey, sports fans, we know that we all fumble now and then when we're headed for the end zone, and our vehicles are no exception. Next time your bad ride is a little offsides, take it to Amco Transmission, your total car care facility. And with no interest financing, even with less than perfect credit, you'll drive away feeling as if you caught the winning touchdown. You always make the right play when you take your vehicle to Amco Transmission on Davis Highway, just south of Airport Boulevard. Visit them on Facebook or call 800-GO-AMCO. AA-MCO.
So I'm having this debate with a landlord.
I said, no pets. Can't rent you the apartment.
My dog is not a pet. Look, I'm legally blind. I need my guide dog.
Sorry, those are the rules.
Rules that allow for housing discrimination? So I made a call to HUD. Turns out, landlords must make reasonable accommodations for assistance animals.
If you think you've been discriminated against, call HUD at 1-800-669-9777 or go to HUD.gov/fair housing.
Fair housing is your right. Use it.
A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
I'm really hungry, but I don't want to spend a fortune.
Well, you're in luck. Now you can get Denny's Super Slam with 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, 2 sausage links, hash browns, and 2 pancakes, all for just $5.99.
That is a great deal. So I get all of that for just $5.99?
You sure do.
Wow, this meal just keeps getting better and better.
Some might say super.
I see what you did there.
The $5.99 Super Slam is back. See you at Denny's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. No substitutions.
I just finished updating my bath with Bath Fitter. Best decision ever. 35 years experience, Bath Fitter knows their stuff. I custom designed the luxury bath I wanted. The color, the style, thousands of options. Luxury hotel quality. Bath Fitter Pensacola did the rest. Installed my bath in less than a day, no demo, no mess, and it's under a lifetime warranty. I love my new bath. Visit bathfitter.com today to book your free in-home consultation and join over 2 million satisfied customers or call 429-1777.
Well, you want to see a Broadway show, but New York City just isn't in the cards.
Broadway's coming to you. Get your tickets now for the 2019-2020 Broadway season at the Sanger Theater. See amazing Broadway touring shows like Jersey Boys, Cats, The Color Purple, Beautiful, An American in Paris, and Waitress for a third of the cost you would pay on Broadway. See actual Broadway shows right here in downtown Pensacola. Get all the details at PensacolaSanger.com.
Talk football every day with Pensacola's own Coach K.
The key on offense is going to be whether Franks can come back and duplicate what he did in the last 4 games.
Every weekday, noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1. Welcome to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1. Pensacola's home to the best talk in sports, new and improved. We are ESPN Pensacola, 1330 and FM 99.1.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. We want to thank Will Kennedy, the voice of the UWF Argos, for joining us, talking about the upcoming matchup against Virginia Lynchburg. Again, kickoff of that game will be at 6 o'clock. The pregame show starting at 5:30, and you can hear that game on this station, ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. Justin Patrick and I are actually going to be at that game, so if you're going to be at the game, we'll be down on the sidelines. Feel free to wave at us. We'll wave at you right back. So at this point, it's one of our favorite parts of the show. We like to add new things to the show as we go along. You know, what works, what doesn't work. This segment works. So, Justin, get us started.
All right, let's start off some baseball. The rookie for the Mets, Pete Alonso, will break the rookie home run record.
Well, without looking at the schedule, I know we still have at least a couple of weeks left. He is at 50 now. He did peter off for a little bit. But if you can just get 2 more, you break the record. You break Aaron Judge's record set 2 seasons ago. I say yes, he is going to do it.
All right. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah. I love it. I don't see how it doesn't happen. I mean, Pete Alonso, he's the polar bear, man. You just can't stop this guy. He's too icy. He's too cold. You can't stop him.
Also, Pete Alonso, real quick, he is such a good ambassador for New York and such a good ambassador for baseball. I mean, he's a huge supporter of our military.
He's not selfish.
He's not selfish at all. He had homemade cleats made for the entire team for 9/11. He has done a lot of big leadership moves just in his rookie season alone. So my hat's off to Pete Alonso. I look forward to the future with Pete Alonso in it for baseball.
He's the polar bear. I love that nickname as
just
well.
Mashing home runs and go Gators. He went to Florida.
Man, we should have won the World Series that year with him. But went 0-2 in the World Series. But okay, moving on. AB won't play again this season. Just got cut by the Patriots Thursday. He will not play again this season.
I love it. First off, Antonio Brown is going through a lot of stuff outside of football involving sexual assault allegations, involving harassment allegations. So there's so much off-field stuff going on that no NFL team, at least for this season, can take a chance on that. I don't see another team signing him right now. And as a matter of fact, a total of guaranteed money, if you combine the Raiders and the New England Patriots, he would have had about $39 million in guarantees. He's getting none of that. So far this season, he has made under $200,000.
He's making $158,000 for 2019.
When he was guaranteed at least 30 from one team and then $9 million for another.
Yep.
And he couldn't even make it those deadlines.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
All right. Moving on to some I also love it as well. He will not be playing. I mean, the Patriots tried. You're just too heavy right now. You guys got to go fix some things. All right. Jonathan Taylor playing against Michigan right now. He is the top non-quarterback contender for the Heisman.
As of right now, I love it. Travis Etienne, another terrific running back from Clemson. I think he's a guy that has the ability to also compete. But Jonathan Taylor right now, when you're talking about non-quarterbacks, I would say is the favorite for the Heisman.
All right. I love it. He's got to be right now. There's no one else really. Travis Etienne, he still has some work to do, in my opinion. We're going to move to some NFL right now. All right, Eli Manning was just named second. Daniel Jones was just named starting quarterback for the Giants Tuesday, and now Eli Manning is now the second quarterback. We won't see Eli Manning start a game in New York again, or New York Giants uniform again.
Barring injury, I think we have seen the last of Eli Manning for his career. Now, again, I think he will hang out for the rest of the season. I don't see him retiring abruptly, but right now it has to be Daniel Jones' show. He was probably the best quarterback during the preseason. He had a little bit more time to get to learn the system. He had a little bit more time to be able to learn the game from Eli, because I think Eli has the ability to be a good mentor for Daniel Jones. I think Eli has accepted this moment already. I think he's known that this is going to come. He was hoping to have one more season of football before he could call it quits. I think he was really wanting to go on his terms, and I was hoping too. That's not the case. It's Daniel Jones' show now. I think we're done seeing Eli Manning, barring injury.
Yep.
I think Eli Manning is done.
And Florida just picked out the ball against Tennessee, stopping their drive. I think it was I don't remember the number.
I didn't see who intercepted the ball, but during that drive, Garantano took a massive hit.
Oh, it was Marco Wilson.
Yeah, Marco Wilson with the interception. So there you go. Florida with the ball again. Offensively, though, they need to pick it back up because they have stalled Ever since they scored that touchdown on just a couple of plays and took Kyle Trask with about a 20-yard pass downfield completed to Kyle Pitts. So Florida moving the ball again, but they're making very small mistakes that's preventing them from getting back in the end zone. So they need to clean that up if they want to score again.
Gardner Minshew is the chosen one in Jacksonville.
We're going to be talking about Gardner Minshew as we during the second hour when we start talking about some of our NFL games. Gardner Minshew at the moment, if he can win ball games, he can remain the starter. You do have Nick Foles out with a broken collarbone, so he's going to be out for quite a while. So this is Gardner Minshew's show. If he can keep winning, why would you sit the guy that's making you win? I'll tell you why, actually, because you paid Nick Foles a lot of money, and you do want to see if you can still win with him.
Yep.
Maybe you can trade him away and get some value out of him. Maybe Gardner Minshew could also remain in your future, or maybe you trade Gardner Minshew away. I doubt that part. But then again, Gardner Minshew, I love it. I do love it. He is a lot of fun right now, and they're calling him the ultimate Florida man, but this time in a good way. He's having a lot of fun. He's actually a guy out of Brandon, Mississippi. He was a journeyman in college. He went to Troy, then he left Troy. He went to junior college, then went to Eastern Carolina. Left Eastern Carolina, was going to go to Alabama, but then he ended up at Washington State. What a story this guy has been. He is really fun, and he's the hottest quarterback in the NFL at the moment in terms of popularity.
All right, well, I love it because I just love the way the guy plays and all these cool stories about him. All right, there will be a one-game playoff for the final wild card spot in the MLB playoffs.
So right now, especially in the AL East, it's starting to heat up. So I'm going to say no. I hate it at the moment. We'll see where this goes, but it's looking really exciting, especially in the AL. And also St. Louis and Chicago. Chicago, it's win or lose time now. They have to win.
I love it as well. I like seeing this one-game playoff for the final wild card spot.
All right, we still have Notre Dame, Georgia coming up, and then we'll talk about the NFL and a little bit of playoff baseball. This is Sports Call with Jordan and Davis and Justin.
Football season has arrived, and ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM is where the action is. Bringing your high school football every Friday night, UWF football on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays. If you would like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. WEBY Milton, Pensacola.
As a single mom here in Santa Rosa County, I'm voting for the penny tax because my son will have a better community to grow up in. From the YMCA and parks to recreation and bike paths, he will have a safe place to be a boy. For a safe and fun childhood for your kids and mine, please vote for the penny on October 8th. This penny will replace the current half-penny tax and will end in 10 years. Please vote for the penny on October 8th.
Political ad paid for by Moving Santa Rosa Forward.
Tap Book Bar and Bistro is the South's premier destination for high-energy sports entertainment. Enjoy award-winning food and a wide variety of draft beer selections with a local flair. Featuring a giant video wall, dozens of HD TVs, and a smoke-free video poker bar, there's no better place to be for sports entertainment. Join us at Tap Book Bar and Bistro, only at Beau Rivage. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
With 16 national championships, 26 SEC championship titles, and a team that delivers so many All-American players, what do you say to that? ESPN Pensacola presents Alabama Roll Tide Radio Show on Mondays starting at 1. Hear from local experts and former players about what's going on in Tuscaloosa. Get ready and let us hear you say it. Roll Tide Roll. Join the Alabama conversation this Monday at 1 o'clock. Brought to you in part by Gordon Auto Sales.
Hey sports fans, we know that we all fumble now and then when we're headed for the end zone, and our vehicles are no exception. Next time your bad ride is a little off sides, take it to Amco Transmission, your total car care facility. And with no interest financing, even with less than perfect credit, you'll drive away feeling as if you caught the winning touchdown. You always make the right play when you take your vehicle to Amco Transmission on Davis Highway, just south of Airport Boulevard. Visit them on Facebook or call 800-GO-AMCO. AA MCO.
big matchup today. Georgia Notre Dame, but is it really that big? Experts say no. Lee Corso has Georgia winning. He put on the Georgia headgear with Uga on the stage with them. This is looking like a game that could go really, really, really bad. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment. But real quick, so if you're a Florida State fan and you're listening to this show right now, let's just take a moment. I know. Let's just take a moment. Florida State going to be taking on Louisville today. They're going to be hosting them at home back at Doak Campbell Stadium. 1-2 is their record. Louisville, they actually looked okay against Notre Dame for their first game of the season, but they did lose, especially in the second half. Turnovers killed them for sure. They're coming into this ball game 2-1. That Notre Dame loss being their only loss of the season. And also, we are expected to see Alex Hornibrook, a transfer from Wisconsin. We are expected to see him play. I have not heard if he's going to start, but we are expected to see Alex Hornibrook play in this ball game. And also, another guy currently plays at Florida State who was a quarterback at Louisville last season. He is at Florida State now. He's listed as their third string, so I doubt we're going to see him play in this ball game. James Blackman looks like he's going to remain as their quarterback. We had tickets in the house here at the station, our sister station, News Radio 92.3, which you can actually hear the Florida State game on that station if you want to hear that game. We had an extra pair of tickets for just in-house. We were trying to give them away to anyone that wanted them, and we're like, nah. I mean, clearly, I'm not really a Florida State fan by trade, and Justin and I are going to be at the UWF game later on today covering that. So obviously, we're not going to road trip out to Tallahassee. And even if I had the clearest schedule in the world, I had nothing going on. It was either I had to stay locked up in my house, or I could go to Tallahassee and enjoy a football game. I'm staying locked up in my house.
Yeah.
Like, that is just not really the ticket anybody wants. Someone did finally claim those tickets, I think just because maybe they were bored enough, but that is where we are with Florida State football. And Willie Taggart is still their head coach. There was a 4-year-old whose father is a booster at Florida State, and they live in Tallahassee. He had a lemonade stand where for $20 a cup, he was selling lemonade because he was trying to raise money to buy out Willie Taggart's contract. Now, that stuff doesn't work. It's more just a message being sent, but over $200 was raised through that fundraiser to buy out Willie Taggart.
It's about always worth it. I want to be honest with you there. Yeah, I mean, Florida State, it's going to be a long road back. I went through it as a Florida Gator fan. I think we're finally getting there with Dan Mullen. But you guys still have a long road back. It's going to be a long one. I mean, we went through as Florida fans, but yeah.
When Willie Taggart had coached at other places, he would have a bad start, but he was a coach who, as the years progressed, he would get better. We saw that out of he coached at Western Kentucky. He did fairly well there. He coached at South Florida. He did pretty good there, and he did good enough to where I think the most he won was 7 or 8 games. But he took a program who was doing really bad and then made them a winning team again. He made them bowl eligible again. He then goes to Oregon, which Oregon, by the way, that's a huge job. Like, that's just not a normal job. Like, that Oregon is a huge, huge job to have. And in his first season there with Justin Herbert, I believe a sophomore quarterback at this point, they were playing extremely good football until Herbert got hurt. He came back later on in the season. They won again. They were a 7-win team, but before Herbert had gotten hurt, they were a solid football team. He did well there, I would say. And then the job opens up at Florida State. Willie Taggart has the opportunity to go there. He's a big name at this point. He takes the job because he's a Florida guy. He wants to go to a program like Florida State. And ever since he arrived, ever since that first game against Virginia Tech, people have been calling for his job. And now you're back at home. You're hosting a team like Louisville, a team that won 2 games last season. So they've already tied the amount of games that they won last year. Matchup Predictor on ESPN has Florida State heavily favored in this ballgame. The spread is 6.5. First off, I think I'm taking Louisville if you're looking at the spread. I'm taking Louisville plus 6.5.
Yeah.
Now, as for Florida State just outright winning the ball game, Folks, I'm taking this to where I need some more time. So at the end of the show, I will give my prediction then. Normally, if there's a game that we just feel so comfortable about, like we'll just go ahead and just give our prediction. We won't wait till the end of the show. We won't suspense it. We'll just tell you who we think is going to win. That's how we do it here on Sports Call. But this is one of those games where I don't know if Florida State's going to win this ball game.
I don't think they will.
And it's honestly upsetting. And by trade, I went to the University of West Florida. I'm a big Argos fan. Obviously, I go to I go to every home game that I can go to because we cover it for one. But as a fan, I want to go and see it. I go to at least 1 to 2 Florida games a year because I am a fan of Florida. My grandfather played at Florida. I grew up having season tickets at Florida, so I'm a Florida fan by trade. But just looking at Florida State and seeing where they once were and seeing some of the talent that is still on that roster, for me personally, and again, as a Gator fan, my heart does go out to Florida State. My heart goes out to a guy like Cam Akers, who was one of the top recruits in the nation and goes to Florida State looking to continue what they once had. And they can barely muster out wins against teams that they need to be beating. Virginia, last week, that was really a must-win for them. They were hanging on there for a little while. Virginia does go on to win 38-31. And I didn't look at that as, because Virginia is ranked, I didn't look at that as, okay, well, Florida State on the road, they were able to hang on against a team like Virginia. No, I looked at it as they lost to Virginia. Is Virginia a decent team? We still have the rest of the season to see. They are playing in a weak ACC. Case in point, Clemson, they're taking on University of Charlotte today. Clemson is facing no ranked teams the rest of their regular season. So Virginia very much could compete in the ACC right now until they play Clemson. If they are, I need to look at their schedule. But Florida State, they're in a bad spot right now. If they do drop today's game, I'm scratching my head if Willie Taggart keeps his job. If Monday, if on Monday I do not see a report that Willie Taggart has been fired, then what are we doing the rest of the season? Now, I get it. There are times where you don't want to fire a coach because during the regular season, you're just trying to get through, and you're just trying to keep your team together. And for a lot of teams, they don't want to shake it up that bad. They don't want to take an already bad team and potentially hurt it even more by bringing in a different coach. So you will deal with the pain for the rest of the season, and then come season end, you'll then let it go. It may turn out to be one of those Will Muschamp scenarios where you go ahead and let the coach know that at the end of the regular season, your job's done. You go ahead and just have that agreement. At this early point in the season, if Florida State were to lose to Louisville, a team at home they are supposed to beat, I would be just dumbfounded if they continue to move forward with Willie Taggart. Is it a contract thing? Is it a just trying to keep your team together thing? I can't see it being the latter.
Florida State and Willie Taggart, I remember we used to talk about this a lot within this offseason, that he has to do this, he has to win in his first 5 games, like he needs to go like 3-2 or win 2 of these games or something, like in his first 6 games. And if he went like 2 or 3 or 1-4 or 1-5 or 2-4, he's going to get fired. And he's looking to face that. I don't see him not really coming out of his first 6 games even. Florida State's just they're not Florida State right now. They have a long road back. And Willie Taggart, he's not really the answer in my opinion, because one, I don't think Florida State's patient enough for Willie Taggart. I think they need a lot more time, and a coach who's a lot more quicker.
I think it's a shame too, because Taggart had so much hype coming into Florida State.
Oh, he had
so much hype. And the second they took the field against Virginia Tech, they were the flattest team you could ever see.
And
I'm not going to go as far as to say, oh, it's probably the quarterback play, or just, you know what, the players don't quite fit the system that Taggart has. For one, that could be true. That could be true, but unfortunately, when you're in a place like Florida State, which is a premier college football team. They are a premier team. They're not playing like it right now, but the name Florida State is a premier name. That is a 5-star name in terms of college football and the talent that is supposed to be there and the level of expectation that you have on your football team. Florida State is that football team. You know what? The players that are there probably don't fit the system that Taggart has. But unfortunately for Taggart, you aren't going to have enough time to get it right.
Yeah.
Now, I think that Jimbo Fisher was the perfect fit because he was with that system for a while. He was able to recruit players that he wanted while he was an assistant, while he was a coordinator. You know, Bobby Bowden, longtime head coach for Florida State, winning 2 national championships at Florida State. Jimbo Fisher was able to, it was an easy takeover. He was able to take over as coach, as the head football coach, and have his players. And then bring in more players and implement his system with those players. And it was an easy transition. They won ball games. Jameis Winston, he came in, was an immediate difference maker for that team on offense. They won a national championship as a result. Winston wins a Heisman Trophy. Willie Taggart doesn't have enough time at a place like Florida State to recruit the players and make his system work. He doesn't have the time. If you don't win right away, you're in the hot seat. And sometimes for some players, for some coaches, one game or one season isn't enough. One season isn't enough to keep your team and build it. It isn't enough time for a place like Florida State. They expect to win. They expect a level of consistency. They don't want to miss bowl games. Your boosters aren't putting forth a lot of money to see their team lose. Florida State is one of those programs. And Willie Taggart was supposed to be that coach to really help them win. And a part of me still says that Willie Taggart in the right system is still a good coach, but not at Florida State. Not right now. If they were to lose this ball game today, it's confusing that he keeps his job by Monday.
Yeah.
And with that, we were going to talk about Georgia, Notre Dame. We still are. But we had to just talk about Florida State because we know that we have a lot of Florida State fans in this area. And again, if you do want to listen to that game still, if you're not watching it, if you're maybe on the road, you're traveling around, and you do want to listen to that ball game, you can listen to it on our sister station, News Radio 92.3, AM 1620. They get kicked off at 2:30, but another game that gets kicked off at 2:30 is Notre Dame, Georgia, and we're going to talk about that ball game when we come back from this break. You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330, AM 99.1 FM.
Football and falling clearance prices. It's here at Pensacola Honda with these great deals. Get a Honda 2019 HR-V all-wheel drive LX CVT for only $249 a month. You own it. Or how about a 2019 Honda Accord Sedan CVT LX for $111 a month? 36-month lease, only $39.99 down. See dealer for details. Rates as low as 1.9% APR on select models. Pensacola Honda and online at PensacolaHonda.com. Home of the one price, low price guarantee.
Imagine having a luxury hotel quality bath in your own home. That's what you'll get with Bath Fitter Pensacola. Bath Fitter will install a beautiful luxury tub in as little as 1 day. There's no demo, no mess, no stress. With thousands of options to choose from, custom design a bath you'll love. It's under warranty for as long as you own your home. With over 35 years experience and more than 2 million satisfied customers, Bath Fitter makes upgrading your bath easy. Visit bathfitter.com today to book your free in-home consultation or call 429-1777.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 94.5 contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 are non-transferable, non-redeemable in cash, nor exchangeable for any other prize. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning, and you must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Hey sports fans, we know that we all fumble now and then when we're headed for the end zone, and our vehicles are no exception. Next time your bad ride is a little off sides, Take it to Amco Transmission, your total car care facility. And with no interest financing, even with less than perfect credit, you'll drive away feeling as if you caught the winning touchdown. You always make the right play when you take your vehicle to Amco Transmission on Davis Highway, just south of Airport Boulevard. Visit them on Facebook or call 800-GO-AMCO. AAMCO.
Golick and Wingo.
A different host from ESPN Radio from around the country is going to make their pick in our Survivor pool.
This is Davis Allen from ESPN Pensacola, and my pick for the Golick and Wingo Survivor pool is Kansas City over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That might be the toughest game on the board week 1, and Pensacola is swinging with Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes.
5 to 9 every weekday morning. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back into Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 991 FM. So you hear that song, fairly local. This is a new segment I've been wanting to try. So we have big names in college football right now. We have Dante Wright at Colorado State, Sawyer Smith. So what I wanted to do, we'll play this song. It'll be the song coming in for this segment. And what we would do, we just kind of address players from here doing big things in the sports world. You know, like Dante Wright over at Colorado State, or Sawyer Smith, or Jacob Copeland at Florida. You know, just keeping the local level, but also combining the national level with it. So that's why I sung Fairly Local by 21 Pilots. That's where it comes in. And that's kind of what I want to do with this. So getting into the segment, let's talk about Sawyer Smith with Kentucky last week. Sawyer Smith from Cantonment played at Tate. Against Florida, he lost 29-21, but he was 23 for 35 for 267 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. In a big game like that, coming in as your first starting game at a big school like that versus Florida, the number 9 team in the nation, that was a pretty good game for him. I'm not going to lie, because he had Florida on the ropes a lot, and I was actually pretty impressed with him. Now, I want to move on to Dante Wright from Navarre. He was a 2-time P&J Football Player of the Year over here. Did a lot of great things at Navarre. Last week against Arkansas, he's the second player ever to have a rush touchdown and a reception touchdown in the first 2 games. Well, 1 of 2 players. The other one was Jonathan Taylor at Wisconsin. So pretty good company. That's pretty big for us coming out of Navarre. And then also we have Jacob Copeland at Florida, who right now he's pretty active in this game versus Tennessee. Right now he has a reception for 8 yards, or a rush for 8 yards, and a reception for 21 yards. And he's from Escambia. He was the number in his class of 2017. He was the number 5 wide receiver in the nation. And he's playing at Florida now. And these are just big guys coming out of here who are doing stuff at the national level of being big names in sports.
Yeah, Jacob Copeland, I'm happy to see him break out in this ball game today. He's been pretty active and looking to put up some good numbers. He's a guy that you want to see more often in the ball game. And why haven't we seen him more? Frankly, I'm not sure. But he is a redshirt freshman. We're going to see more of him, assuming he's happy with his time at Florida, and he'll continue to make big plays, especially moving further up the roster, moving further down in his career at Florida. You know, he wants to be at the place that gives him the best opportunity to win. That can be Florida. But let's see how he plays the rest of this season, the rest of this game. Let's start, because he is getting playing time. He's been looking fairly good. And actually, quick update: Florida had recovered what is a fumble off a legal backwards pass. To me looked by Tennessee. To me, it kind of looked like a forward pass, so I have a feeling this call is going to get reversed. But while we're fairly local, on Thursday at Washington High School, I went out to the school because a former student of Washington, Jayla Roberts, was honored by ESPN, not ESPN Pensacola. No, she was honored by us, but the national brand ESPN had honored her for an incredible shot she hit last January. Last January against Pine Forest, a crucial district game for the women's basketball team at Washington, she hit a 74-foot shot well beyond half court at the buzzer to win the ball game. Channel 3, they had gotten the footage of that. They sent that over to ESPN. ESPN made her the number 9 pick on SC's top 10 for that episode. She was number 9 hitting that shot. Well, now, through surprise, last week we had received an email from the people at ESPN saying, hey, we have this really cool thing going on. We want you guys to help us out with it. They handed it over to me. I've been coordinating with these people. And what happened was she was honored. She came back in town. She was honored. It was like a pep rally they had in the gym. And they played the number 9 video on SportsCenter. So she got to see that. And then right afterwards, Neil Butchergross, he's an anchor for SportsCenter. He then comes on and says, Jayla, how's it going? This is Neil Butchergross. Congratulations on that incredible shot. And then, he's speaking, and then he says, so now what we want to do is honor you. If you go outside, we have this basketball court painted for you in honor of you. It's like, so go outside. This is all for you. Congratulations, Jayla. And so we're outside. Chad Brilliante is out there. We have a big thing, the basketball court. And I'm going to post this on our ESPN Pensacola Facebook page. The basketball court outside at Washington High School, unbelievable how cool it is. It's painted with Jayla's name, Jayla Roberts, and it even says Pensacola, home to SC Top 10. Unbelievable moment for not only Jayla, but for Pensacola. She was honored with the key to the city by Grover Robinson, our mayor. Commissioner Luman May of District 3, he was there. He honored her as well. She apparently played basketball in one of his basketball systems. Like he coaches basketball. And an unbelievable moment for her, for Pensacola. And I interviewed her for about a minute, and I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm shouting, but it was so loud out there at the court. So here was my brief interview with Jayla during the ceremony.
All right, I'm here with Jayla Roberts, Booker T. Washington alumni. First off, we are here at something that's pretty spectacular. You're being honored by not ESPN Pensacola, but ESPN, the national brand. You are the home of SportsCenter's Top 10. How's it feel?
It's special. It's amazing. It feels amazing. It's great. I'm speechless right now. I don't know how to really explain it, but I'm happy. It's amazing.
Now, you had no idea this was happening, right?
Unexpected.
Now, when you came out and you're here and you saw this beautiful court, what was your first reaction?
I was amazed. I was shocked. I honestly was shocked. I didn't expect it to be this big. I knew I was coming to talk to ESPN, but I never expect it to be this big. So it's just amazing all around. I'm really happy. And I'm honored. I'm honestly honored for y'all coming out and doing this for me.
Now, who would you think, out of all the people in this crowd, there's a ton of people here, who do you have to thank out of all these people?
I'm going for Coach Brown. My high school coach, Coach Brown, made it happen. Everybody made it happen, but I know Coach Brown played a major part in many ways. So, Coach Brown, shout out to you, love you.
Now, you hit an incredible shot. It was beyond half court. In fact, there's even a white spot to commemorate the moment where you did an unbelievable shot. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Real quick, what are you doing today?
I'm going to just hang out with the family and celebrate. We're going to celebrate. Then
you're going to bring it back home to North Alabama and basketball season continues.
And we're going to do it again.
All right. Well, Jayla, congratulations. Enjoy the day. This day's for you.
Thank you so much.
So just a spectacular moment. We, if you had continued it, you would hear me say, "All right, let's take a selfie." We did take a selfie. It was pretty awesome. But congratulations to Jayla Roberts. She is ESPN's hometown hero. She is certainly our hometown hero at ESPN Pensacola. An amazing moment for her. And I would almost say, I wonder if she was overwhelmed at how big the moment was. It was a spectacular moment. And shout out to Washington High School because they put on a dang good pep rally. So that's my hometown. That's my fairly local hometown hero. Congratulations to Jayla Roberts. 12-26, taking a look at some of the games that are going on. Florida, they have the ball now, still 10-0. Kyle Trask drops back in shotgun, throws the ball downfield. First down, throwing to Tyreek Cleveland, about a 14.5-yard reception. Florida continuing to move the ball, looking good overall on offense, but they are struggling when they get down to the red zone. LSU blowing out Vanderbilt now 28-10. Cal, they are leading Mississippi's 14-13. Alabama blowing out Southern Miss 28-7. Michigan State is beating Northwestern. Justin, that was your pick right there for Northwestern to upset Michigan State, but Michigan State is winning 7-3, and then Wisconsin, they're really bringing it to Michigan 21-0 in that ball game. So we've been teasing Georgia Notre Dame. I'm not waiting anymore. I want to talk about Georgia Notre Dame.
We were
right
trying to
now.
do that last segment, and we went on this long rant about Florida State, which
Dude, you can give us a 2-hour show, and we will never, ever really fit everything that we want to talk about
especially
in that time
at
period.
This time of year, it's almost impossible because we can just talk for days on end about college football. Like, if we wanted to talk college football for 3 hours, we'd talk college football for 3 hours like it was nothing, and we could still do it for 3 more hours after probably. Like, it's not hard for us because it's this time of year and everything's loaded with playoff baseball. You have drama in the NFL, and you have college football as well. I mean, we can just talk all day when it comes to this time of year. Now, when it gets like February, that's when things get a little bit interesting.
And I know that we don't necessarily talk heavily on the NFL, but also that another reason is because tomorrow from 10 to noon, we do have the NFL Tailgate Show with Chad Brillante. And Justin, you're also a part of that as well. You go out there. It's at World of Beer. Really, it's a really fun show. Chad does a good job with that. New concept that we're trying. We always want to try different things out here.
I love the atmosphere of it. We used to do Beef O'Brady's last year with Fantasy Sleepers.
Yeah, Fantasy Sleepers.
But honestly, the World of Beer atmosphere, I love it. Like, they're really welcoming. Joe, the owner, call him Pop. He's really welcoming to us. The TV's there. I love the atmosphere of the place, and I love how it's set up with all the connected restaurants and bars. It's a really great place. And tomorrow, come out and join us. Watch some games. Like, watch your favorite NFL team. They have all the games. They have the NFL Sunday ticket package, and it's a great atmosphere. I think everyone should experience it.
So, how many Notre Dame fans do we have in this audience? Okay, raise a hand. You can text in, call in if you want to be a part of this conversation. But we're going to now talk about how bad Georgia's going to beat Notre Dame today.
Yep.
Or at least I am. I don't know about you, Justin.
No, because actually, I just want to point this fact out real quick before you start talking about them. I always want to talk about the difference of size it is between the two teams because what do you think Georgia's O-line average weight is?
Oh, I'm going to say like 320, 330.
330 on the mark. What's Notre Dame's D-line's average weight?
Well, I'm based on where this conversation's going, I'm going to say about 300.
275.
What?
That's about a 60-pound difference in average. And now you also got to talk about they had DeAndre Swift at Georgia. And then you have the smart QB of Jake Fromm. Only 653 career passes. Only 13 interceptions. None this year. It's going to be a long night for the Irish defense in Athens. I just want to point that out.
Now, this game was played 2 years ago in Notre Dame, and at the time, Florida with another big, about a 25-yard completion for Florida in the red zone now, first down. But this game happened 2 years ago in Notre Dame, which, by the way, I have been to a couple of games in Notre Dame. I do support Notre Dame. I have family friends. They are diehard Notre Dame fans. My friend's dad went to Notre Dame. They live about 10 minutes away from campus. He actually works on campus now. So Notre Dame is. I've been to games up there. I have celebrated Notre Dame before. I like Notre Dame, and we just got an update that Jonathan Taylor has cramps, so he'll probably sit out the rest of the half. It's very hot out there, I'm sure. This game was the hottest ticket to get at the time. The most expensive ticket, by the way, same thing today. The cheapest ticket you can purchase right now, according to VividSeats.com, is $365. That's the cheapest ticket. That's the cheapest ticket that you can get here at Georgia. That was the same thing in Notre Dame. That game, by the way, was a 2019 victory for Georgia, and that was what thrusted Georgia back into the national spotlight. And by the way, they went to the national championship that year where they did have that heartbreaking loss to Alabama. That's not really going to be the case today. You're in Athens.
This is one of the top 5 most expensive games of the year, along with Nebraska and Colorado, LSU and Texas. And this game, there's another one. I think another one involved Texas and Oklahoma, and there's another one I can't remember. But this is one of the most. It's the third most expensive game of the year. Me and Jordan, when Jordan was here with us, we actually broke down all these games and whether or not they should be this expensive. In this game, it definitely lives up to the hype, and it should be. And I'm not surprised about it at all. I actually know someone who's going to the game. I'm like, how are you paying for that ticket? Like that's like 6 months worth of gas right there. And like, it's amazing.
No, and you know, it's a big game because it's number 7 against number 3, Georgia hosting Notre Dame. And as a matter of fact, I went to the Florida State Notre Dame game when it was 3-5. Jameis Winston was in his last year at Florida State. And Everett Golson, remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Everett Golson, who transferred to Florida State. In Florida, by the way, 4th and goal at the 1-yard line. I could see them going for this one. It's almost halftime. They're not getting the ball back. Go for it. That was a big game in itself. This is a different team. Notre Dame, Ian Book is a decent quarterback. He's a capable quarterback. He has 6 touchdowns, no interceptions on the season. Same with Jake Fromm has 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jake Fromm's numbers, though, are a little bit better. But Jake Fromm, he is a I want to say a first-round quarterback. He's going to leave at the end of this season. I would imagine he's going to leave at the end of this season. Ian Book, a good quarterback. Georgia's way too powerful. They're way too strong. They have one of the best running games in the country as of right now, led by DeAndre Swift. Georgia, they're favored also by 14.5 points. Again, this is a top 10 matchup, and yet Notre Dame not really getting too much respect. And I'm sorry, Notre Dame, you're not really going to get it from me right now. You got blown out by Clemson, and I want to also say this for the Notre Dame fans who called into the Paul Feinbaum show, which you can hear on this station Monday through Friday from 2 to 5. For the Notre Dame fans, or at least the people who hate Georgia that called into the Feinbaum show and was saying that we're not giving Notre Dame enough credit, it's valid. It is valid. Now, if Notre Dame were to pull off I'm not going to say pull off the upset, but let's just say it is a one-score game in the fourth quarter. I will give Notre Dame credit. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit in this ball game. Maybe I am underestimating them horribly. But Georgia is too strong of a team. I think defensively they're too strong of a team. I see this being another Clemson game for Notre Dame. They're finally playing a good team on their schedule. I see this being a very tough game for Notre Dame in Athens. It is very tough to play in that stadium and be successful, especially with where Georgia is right now. They still have every Georgia is the favorite to win the East. Florida has their hands full when they go to Jacksonville and play them. I have Georgia winning this ball game. I'm going to go ahead and give my prediction on that one. Georgia wins this ball game. 14.5 is a spread. I think Georgia covers.
Yeah, I see it. I mean, like I said earlier, like the O-line, the run game, and Jake Fromm, that's just that's really tough. And I don't think Notre Dame has anywhere near half the defense that it needs to take that. So I say the cover.
Now, Notre Dame technically does have more points per game. Barely, by the way. 50.5 points compared to 49.3 to Georgia. Has the competition been tougher? Frankly, Georgia hasn't played that much yet. You got to look at the talent. I mean, Georgia's played Vanderbilt, Murray State, Arkansas State. They've played nobody up to this point. Notre Dame, they do have Louisville. They're 2-1 on the season. And real quick, Florida up the middle, and it looks, oh my goodness, I think they might have been short, but they're giving them a touchdown, but this will be replayed. They're giving them a touchdown, but I think this ball will be replayed. I think it could have been short.
I think Louisville and Vanderbilt are in the same boat.
You think Louisville and Vanderbilt are in the same boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both pretty weak. Notre Dame played Louisville. They beat them. You know, they struggled with them in the first half, but they pulled away. They blew out New Mexico State.
He got in.
Okay, good. So touchdown Florida. They take a 16-0 lead over Tennessee going into halftime. Tennessee, I imagine, they're probably going to take a knee. Yeah, very close, but it looks like the ball just barely crossed
a couple
the goal
inches.
line.
He reached there, and it broke.
So now you have this very much anticipated matchup. Both teams getting big wins heading into this ball game by blowing out their teams that they were playing. That sets them up nicely against one another. But Georgia, you got to imagine, they're just bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. Notre Dame, a good team as they are, they're independent for a reason. They are independent for a reason. They can schedule who they want, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a good team. Notre Dame has that name. They have won numerous national championships. They are not that team right now.
Yep.
Georgia is a tough team. They're one of the best teams in the nation right now. I have them winning this ball game big. I would go as far as to say they'll probably win. If I were to give a score, it would be 48 to 24. And I don't even think Notre Dame's scoring 24 points. I actually go lower than that. I'm going to change it to 17.
Okay, I see it. I mean, Georgia, we're basically giving our pick right now. I mean,
we're giving our pick right now because, again, like we want to. If it's an obvious game, we'll go ahead and give it. At least for us, if it's obvious. You may completely disagree with us, and if you do, by all means, text or call in and argue with us if you want to. This could be fun.
I'll argue with you any day about college football. I do not care who you are or who it is. Like if It could be a group of 5 team, and I'll argue with you about it. It could be an FCS team, and I'll argue with it. I don't care. I'll talk about it all day.
We'll talk about it all day, and we'll continue to talk about more going on. And real quick, we will give an update on Florida. 17-0 going into halftime. They did score that touchdown as time expired. So it's Florida leading Tennessee 17-0. Other quick updates: Alabama at halftime against Southern Miss 28-7. Cal at halftime with Ole Miss 14-13, and LSU blowing out Vanderbilt 31-10. And Jonathan Taylor out at the moment, but they are at halftime. I expect to see him return. You're listening to Sports Call with Davis and Justin on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM.
Does pain have you sidelined on the bench? Clearway Pain Solutions wants you back in the game. Our team of compassionate, board-certified pain specialists, chiropractors, and physical therapists will relieve your pain and restore your function. For comprehensive, patient-centered care, visit a Clearway doctor at one of our convenient locations near you. Call Clearway Pain Solutions today at 855-527-PAIN or visit our website at clearwaypain.com. That's 855-527-PAIN or clearwaypain.com.
Every week, Harley-Davidson talks about enjoying the freedom of owning a Harley provides. Today, Harley-Davidson of Pensacola is drawing attention to the freedom that we have in our great country because of sacrifices made by the fine men and women of our armed forces. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola continues to raise awareness of veteran suicide. Anyone who attempts to do 22 push-ups at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola on September 22nd gets a voucher towards 22% off a licensed product in motor clothes or parts. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola, let's ride.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
What if people had a battery level icon? Like on your phone? You'd see a lot of us in need of a recharge. Thank goodness there's 5-Hour Energy. Because just one sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy shot can get you all the way back to 100% fast. And isn't life better at 100%? 5-Hour Energy. Get back to 100%. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Falling like a light bulb. This will mess up every plan that I made up. I've been waiting.
Welcome back into Sports Call with Davis and Justin. Well, it's kind of just Sports Call with Justin because Davis is not in the studio right now. On ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 991 FM. If you want to join the show, call in, text us at 850-623-1330. That's 850-623-1330. Right now, we've been talking about some college football right now. Looking at some games that's going on right now. Cal is ahead of Ole Miss, 14-3 at half. LSU is pounding Vanderbilt, 31-10, 3.5 minutes left. Halftime with Michigan, Wisconsin, 28-0, and 7-3 Michigan State over Northwestern. And Florida and Tennessee just going to half. Florida's up 17-0. Davis, welcome back from your laundry thing going on.
Yes, I had to run a quick thing of laundry real quick. Thank goodness we have a washer and dryer here. But we'll be we're going to the West Florida game against Virginia Lynchburg. I need clean clothes. I need a clean ESPN shirt for that ball game. I was wearing it, and I sweat quite a bit at the Washington event, and I kind of forgot to wash it while I was at home. So thank goodness. Thank you to my bosses for having us well prepared here at the station. But yeah, thank you, Justin, for getting us started in this segment. I am back now, and let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of NFL right now, because even though we have beat up this subject a lot, nationally, this subject has been beat up a lot.
We haven't mentioned this guy at all today, and I'm really impressed with us.
It's for a purpose. It's for a purpose. And we're going to keep this segment kind of short. We went longer on the last segment. We really wanted to get in Notre Dame, Georgia, because on paper that is the biggest game going on today. But we have to take a second to at least mention Antonio Brown.
I mean, we kind of be bad not to, of course, because it's sports. It's the most talked thing in sports, let's be honest.
It's the biggest thing in sports at the moment, and just yesterday, if you have missed the news, if you took a day off from sports and you don't know what's going on, if you buried your head in the sand, Antonio Brown was released by the New England Patriots after just playing one game. He spent 11 days with the New England Patriots, and he has been released. Why was he released? So, after Antonio Brown arrived in New England, amongst everything that had already been happening, especially dating back to when he was with Pittsburgh Steelers, and then the brief period of time, the offseason that he spent with the Oakland Raiders, now Antonio Brown is facing allegations of sexual assault by not just one person, but multiple. Multiple people are accusing Antonio Brown of sexual assault as well as harassment. And earlier in the day, yesterday, Bill Belichick was giving a press conference. He does his normal press conferences, and he was asked about Antonio Brown. He cuts the interview short.
I sent you that video.
Yeah, and you sent me the video. He didn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want.
I mean, look, with Bill Belichick, you got to know, like, this is not a guy who, if he does not care whether or not there is media about him or not. This is a guy on Madden. He doesn't want to be anywhere near involved in Madden. He just wants to play football. He told you he's not talking about the allegations. He'll talk to you about Antonio Brown on the field in football with Antonio Brown, but he will not talk about any of the drama going with Antonio Brown outside the field, and that's always been Bill Belichick with any player. It does not matter who. He is football. Only thing he cares about is football and the game that's upcoming.
And part of this is, Brittany Taylor, she was the first one to file a sexual assault lawsuit. She filed a civil lawsuit against him claiming that he assaulted her. So she was a personal trainer of his. She alleges that this had happened, that she was sexually assaulted by Brown. This is all alleged, of course. A source says that, and they tell ESPN's Jeff Darlington that there was a settlement agreement of $2 million, that if Brown had signed that settlement agreement, we're all good. Brown declined to sign it. Brown was not going to pay this person $2 million as part of the settlement. By the way, last Monday, Brittany Taylor did meet with the NFL as part of the investigation, because the NFL takes this stuff serious. They're going to investigate these claims. There are more interviews and information that are going to be conducted and gathered as we continue to go on with this. We're not sure if Antonio Brown is going to sit down with the league and be interviewed by them. But all we know right now is that Antonio Brown is without a job. And at the moment, sources also say that this is a decision that was between Bill Belichick and Patriots owner Robert Kraft, who, by the way, Robert Kraft is going through his own stuff as well.
Yep.
But then again, you're the owner of the team. You can kind of handle it as you go along. If you're a player, you're an employee of the team. Oh, you can just get released. Well, that's exactly what happened. This was apparently a decision made between Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft. And personally, and again, this is all alleged.
Yep.
So we're going to proceed we're going to let the investigation take its course.
But I want to say something. Antonio Brown showed no heat towards the Patriots. He thanked them. I mean, how could you not, though? I mean, you worked with two of the greatest to ever do it in their position, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. He said he appreciated what they did for him, and he said thank you. And
I will say this, Antonio Brown, when he arrived at New England, the drama that came with him now was the sexual assault allegation. It wasn't him doing something or saying something, especially involving a helmet. It wasn't him. It was instead allegations now being pressed against him. But for the most part, Brown himself was quiet. Now, one thing that apparently is also happening is that Brown is sending intimidating messages to these people who are accusing him. One, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure any lawyer in this entire world will say, don't do that. First off, don't leave a paper trail. You can think something. You can probably be a little distraught that you're in this situation, but you don't send threatening messages or intimidating messages is the word that they're using to these victims.
You don't make contact with them.
You don't contact them. You let this all be handled by the legal side. You let your legal representatives handle this side. I am not a lawyer, but I'm able to at least tell you that. Antonio Brown, in this current situation that he is in, it is almost impossible to believe that he is going to play this season. If I'm an owner, if I'm a general manager, If I'm a head coach, I can't deal with that right now. I can't deal with the distraction of Antonio Brown. I can't deal with the possible hate that comes with that. I have to let the investigation play itself out. You need to let Antonio Brown figure this out with his representatives, with his family, with these people who are alleging these assaults on him, against him. And as a football team, as a league, you need to take a step back and just let that play out. Now, of course, the NFL is going to continue to investigate these people because all these things occurred while Brown has been an employee with the league. Nike has even dropped Antonio Brown. That's expected. I would expect many of his endorsements are probably going to step away. Zenith, he briefly signed with Zenith, the football helmet company, and they, after less than a week, cut ties with him. Yep. As a company, you don't want to be associated with that right now. You want to let that play out. Let the legal side determine what's going to happen. And as a company, as a league, you need to move forward. I don't see any team investing their time and money in Antonio Brown, at least not right now.
Yep. It's too much baggage. Too much baggage to take on with that guy. I mean, a lot of things need to be handled, and I just don't see anyone taking him up this season for the rest of the season, unless he's proven innocent or all this to put away. But yeah, I don't see it happening.
It's just incredible when you look at the timeline. March 13th, Brown is introduced in Oakland after being acquired in a trade with Pittsburgh. He signs a 3-year, $30 million contract. Brown even saying, I bring accountability, I bring actions, not what I say, what I do, how I approach things. May 28th, Brown is impressing coaches. He's doing well. John Gruden loves him. July 25th, Brown shows up to Napa for training camp. He has frostbite on his feet. He was in France. He was in a cryotherapy machine, wears the wrong footwear, gets frostbite on his feet. July 26th, he takes a hot air balloon ride over wine country, kickoff training camp, but he is later in the day put on the non-football injury list. This is all according to ESPN, by the way. July 28th, he is activated from the non-football injury list, and he does participate through walkthroughs, especially up to this point. The frostbite is healing, and he's looking good. July 30th, he participates in practice, puts on a show. He then shuts it down, leaves early. You would imagine it probably has to do with his feet. He then also, he says he's not going to be showing up for another 2 weeks because he wants to continue to have his feet heal. But then also, then we find out about his protest, about his football helmet that is now banned due to safety reasons. It's now 10 years old. If it's 10 years old or more, it no longer works. August 13th, he returns. He says that it's all good between him and Mike Mayock, general manager, and John Gruden. August 15th, him and Derek Carr, they're clicking at practice. They're playing well, although Antonio Brown has not played in the preseasons up to this point. August 18th, he loses his grievance to the NFL and says, you know what, I'm all in. I'm all in. It's okay, I'm all in. August 19th, he returns to training camp. August 22nd, him and Brown are doing warm-ups in Winnipeg, Canada for that game played in Canada. Everything goes well, although we did not see Brown play, and he also skipped mandatory pregame walkthrough. August 25th, he had filed another grievance. He loses that one. Everything's good. He gets an endorsement deal with Zenith. We move on, and then it really continues to go downhill. September 4th, he is getting in confrontations with Mike Mayock. September 5th, the reports come out that Brown's suspended. He ends up not getting suspended. The next day, apologizes to his team. September 7th, he's fined more than $200,000, which led to his subsequent release. The next day, he signs with the Patriots. The next day, Brittany Taylor files a lawsuit against him. It just goes and goes. I'm taking forever. You know why I'm taking forever? It's because so much happened between the offseason.
It will not die. It's
and
like
today.
It's like they're pouring just gasoline on this thing, like thinking it's water. Nope, still not water. Nope, it's still gasoline. Nope, it's just getting bigger and bigger now. We can't control it.
So I guess collectively, we could say he is once again our loser.
Yeah, really. Well, my loser is all the drama queens in the NFL. You saw me do this a lot throughout the week. I texted you. I'd send you things. you could really make a soap opera out of the NFL. I just want to point out Odell Beckham saying that he's just being picked on, he's being bullied by the NFL because he's wearing a $350,000 watch, or he's wearing a tenant advisor. And he has to forced to go take it off during the middle of a game, and he's being picked on. And then you got Jamal Adams saying that he's being targeted because he in the NFL is a bunch of BS and all that because of his getting fined $21,000 for the hit on Baker Mayfield. I mean, he took the Jets out of his Instagram bio, saying he was a defensive back for the Jets after they lost to the Browns. He took it out of his bio. I mean, you could really make a soap opera out of this. So that's why my loser's the drama queens of the NFL.
And that's a fairly solid loser.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it with Antonio Brown, although I have a feeling this won't be the last time we mention this story, but as we continue to go throughout the show, we want to bring you fresh stories. We want to talk about things that are currently going on, and we want to keep our fans updated. And we want you to know what's going on in the sports world and what we feel about it. And we want to give our takes, and we certainly encourage you to give your take on this subject as well. But you can only beat a dead horse for so long. So unless anything crazy comes up, I think for a while we're going to take a hiatus from Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, me too.
So I think the loser really is how often everyone has had to cover this story.
Yep.
How often everyone's had to spend time focusing on this. I'm formally announcing we are going to take a break, not only from this segment, but from Antonio Brown. My winner is Jayla Roberts because she is a boss. Great job putting Pensacola on the map.
My winner is going to be Kyle Trask because through all the adversity you faced, the last time you started a high school a game at quarterback was freshman year of high school. And you fought through it, you worked hard, and now you're here starting a game versus Tennessee, and you've been a team player all the way through, no drama with you at all. I mean, that's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
I would love to have him on my team at all costs, so he's my winner.
Especially in a climate where you have the transfer portal.
Yes.
It's so easy to leave. He was committed through and through. We'll take a quick timeout. We're going to give you our final predictions here on Sports Call with Davis and Justin. You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Well, you want to see a Broadway show, but New York City just isn't in the cards.
Broadway's coming to you. Get your tickets now for the 2019-2020 Broadway season at the Sanger Theater. See amazing Broadway touring shows like Jersey Boys, Cats, The Color Purple, Beautiful, An American in Paris, and Waitress for a third of the cost you would pay on Broadway. See actual Broadway shows right here in downtown Pensacola. Get all the details at PensacolaSanger.com.
I'm really hungry, but I don't want to spend a fortune.
Well, you're in luck. Now you can get Denny's Super Slam with 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, 2 sausage links, hash browns, and 2 pancakes, all for just $5.99.
That is a great deal. So I get all of that for just $5.99?
You sure do.
Wow, this meal just keeps getting better and better.
Some might say super.
I see what you did there.
The $5.99 Super Slam is back. See you at Denny's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. No substitutions.
Football and falling clearance prices. It's here at Pensacola Honda with these great deals. Get a Honda 2019 HRV all-wheel drive LX CVT for only $249 a month. You own it. Or how about a 2019 Honda Accord Sedan CVT LX for $111 a month? 36-month lease, only $39.99 down. See dealer for details. Rates as low as 1.9% APR on select models. Pensacola Honda and online at PensacolaHonda.com. Home of the one price, low price guarantee.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
You're listening to Pensacola's local and ESPN sports station. Your favorite ESPN radio shows, plus high school and UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. This is Sports Call with Davis and Justin. We are wrapping up the show, but we want to give our final predictions, talk about some of the biggest games going on right now. Quick update, LSU blowing out Vandy, LSU winning that one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Alabama over Southern Miss.
Yep.
Hands down. Wisconsin, Michigan, quick update on that ball game as my computer decides to freeze up on me, but it was a 21-0 last time I saw. Wisconsin holds on to win.
It's 28-0 now. Yeah, they're hanging on the win. Washington, BYU. BYU, they've been upsetting teams. Upset USC last week.
But USC managed to upset Utah yesterday, but I like Washington in this ball game.
Okay, I like BYU, actually. Michigan State, Northwestern. Michigan State's at 14-3.
I like Michigan State to win this one.
I like Northwestern still. I see they're a tough team. I like to see them come back. Oregon, Stanford.
So Stanford, not a strong team. Oregon, I think they're rebounding well against after their loss to Auburn at the beginning of the year. I like Oregon.
Tennessee, Florida. We both have Florida, of course, and I see Florida winning this game no matter what. Notre Dame and Georgia. We both gave Georgia earlier. Auburn, Texas A&M.
I have Texas A&M winning this ball game. This is going to be a huge home win for Texas A&M over Auburn, but I think it's going to be a fun game.
I think Auburn wins this one. I say Bo Nix comes out clutch. I'm more confident in him as a quarterback than Kellen Mond. I know it's a home game for him, but I just like Bo Nix a lot.
All right, so a game that you can hear right here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 is UWF taking on Virginia Lynchburg. Who do you got?
UW.
Oh, yeah, UWF, I think they're going to win this game hands down. They are whiting out. If you're going to that game, wear your white. We'll be at the game. We'll be on the sidelines.
Wearing black.
We'll be wearing black. We'll be wearing the ESPN black, but that's okay. We're repping the brand. Nonetheless, it's all good. Okay, so baseball really quick. We do want to mention some quick baseball. Tampa Bay Rays have a must-win against the Boston Red Sox as they're competing in the wild card. Who do you got in that ball game?
Tampa.
I got to get Tampa in this one. The Red Sox were eliminated, but the Oakland Athletics, they are leading the AL East. They're taking on Texas. Who do you got?
Athletics.
I got the Athletics because they just aren't losing right now. All right, guys, that'll do it for us. Enjoy football. UWF right here starting at 5:30. Will Kennedy with the pregame show. Have a good Saturday.
Football season has arrived, and ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM is where the action is. Bringing your high school football every Friday night, UWF football on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays. If you would like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Steve Lennox. Third quarter just about ready to get underway in Madison, Wisconsin. 13th ranked Badgers still have not allowed any points this season. That shutout streak has now reached 10 quarters. Badgers at home leading 28-0 on number 11 Michigan. Jonathan Taylor, Jack Cohn, both with 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half. Taylor questionable to return because of cramps. He ran for 143 yards in the first quarter against the Michigan defense. The Badgers defense forcing 2 turnovers in the first half and holding Michigan to under 100 yards of total offense. Third quarter underway in Tuscaloosa. Number 2 Alabama increasing its lead now of 35-7 on Southern Mississippi. Tua Tagovailoa, another touchdown pass, 5 for the game. That game is on ESPN2. Number 9 Florida at home against Tennessee. Gators able to extend the lead just before halftime.
Trask under center, 4th and goal inside the 1 with 2 seconds to play in the half. Trask turns, gives it to Pirine, diving for the goal line, left side. He's across. Touchdown, Florida. The Gators go for it on 4th down, and Florida cashes in right at the end of the half.
Ted Emmerich, the call on other ESPN radio outlets today. Florida up 17-0. Third quarter just underway on ESPN TV and again on other ESPN radio affiliates. Final minutes, second quarter, LSU on the road leading 38-17 on Vanderbilt. Joe Burrow, 357 yards passing and 4 scores. That game is on the SEC Network. Baseball, Blue Jays in the Bronx up 1-0 on the Yankees.
The Cleveland Indians and the Philadelphia Phillies go head-to-head in the hunt for October. Coverage begins today at 6:30 Eastern and tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Indeed.
You're in the 06010. Focus. Fantasy focus.
We got some news. So, Daniel, let's get to it.
Fantasy news
from the National Football League.
This is the instant replay.
Just a little bit of news, a little bit right here is David Njoku of the Browns, tight end who we saw leave the game on Monday night against the Jets. It was a pretty nasty fall he took, sort of landed on his head, shoulder, and wrist at the same time. And Stefania, we know now not just a head issue, but even more that he's dealing with.
Yeah, when he landed, the first thing I thought was I really didn't like the way it kind of jammed his head to the side, looked like a head and neck injury. And so the concussion didn't surprise us. But coming out yesterday that he also has a wrist injury and possibly could need surgery, which would cost him multiple weeks. So I know sometimes I was already thinking short week. You never make assumptions about the concussion protocol anyway, but when you have one less day, a little riskier. But people who might be thinking, oh, well, it might just be 1 week. It sounds like it could definitely be longer.
All right. Well, I would imagine, Mike, that if you're going to look in-house, Demetrius Harris will be the next Browns tight end up. But the question might be this, is A, is the role even valuable enough? B, is Harris good enough? And C, if not, there's got to be other options. And who might they be that come to mind at that tight end spot to replace David Njoku?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, you tell me if he was effective. He played 46 of 59 snaps in week 2.
I like that.
He had 1 target.
Okay.
So not
don't
good.
like that
not
part.
Good for fantasy. You don't like that at all. Listen, he's already 28 years old. He's never caught more than 18 passes in a season. So I'm not
This is
overly
Demetrius
interested.
Harris.
This is Demetrius Harris, of course. So not too interested there. I'll say this. I mean, maybe, dare I say, perhaps in deeper leagues, could Ricky Seals-Jones, who is on that roster, jump back into the
blast from the past?
Right? So could he? Maybe they expand his role this week. We'll keep an eye on that. You don't need to add him right now, though. Maybe in a deep dynasty league or a 2 tight end league, you keep an eye on him. But no, I would stay away. I'm looking at maybe Will Disley off waivers or Greg Olsen.